And you are going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And good evening. This is our regular meeting for the City Council, City of Southfield, and we are conducting our meeting, and we will adhere to the quorum and adhere to the guidelines as it relates to conducting business. We're going to ask that you not have any disturbances. If that occurs, you will be removed from this meeting. And the council has decided that we want to keep this meeting on a professional manner, so I, as chair, will make sure that happens. So the first individual that we will be recognizing this evening is Judge William Richard. Mayor Scott.
Madam Chair, is Judge here? We're going to have to postpone that to another time.
Okay. And the next one is yours as well.
Madam Chair, we have an exciting event coming up on the Saturday, June 20th. Before I go with the proclamation, we have Race Director Dave Bushman here. It's a great event, and a great family event, and I'm going to have him, when I get through reading this resolution, to have him go ahead and tell a little bit about it, because it's I'm not going to run the 10K though.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You can do the 5K.
Don't go on.
That's good too.
Anyway, this Southfield Summer Solstice Day in the city of Southfield, June 20th, 2015. The Southfield Summer Solstice, presented by Five Credit Union, is a unique event held at sunset the weekend summer begins, Saturday, June 20th, on the campus of LTU. The Southfield Summer Solstice is a family festival that promotes a healthy lifestyle with activities for all ages, including a 5K walk, run, a 10K run, a 1-mile family stroll, music, yoga, soul, kids, activities, food trucks, and much, much more. This is made possible through the combined support of LTU, the Southfield Area Chamber of Commerce, the City Center Advisory Board, the Mayor's Office and Business Development Team, and several city departments. The proceeds of the summer event will benefit a variety of local charities, including the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, the Michigan Parkinson's Foundation, the Boys and Girls Club of Oakland and Macomb County, Make-A-Wish Michigan, the Southfield Firefighters Charities, and Friends of the Southfield Police Department. It's been resolved that we all try to attend this event. We put a lot of work into this. It's a great event, as I've stated, and Greg Bushman's here, and he can give you a little bit of what's going on.
Thank you. This is the shirt. It's called the Dry Fit shirt. Wicks away all your sweat and things like that. So thank you very much for the opportunity to be here and for the proclamation. This is our second annual event. We got started last year with Terry Curley and his fantastic planning department. We cannot thank him and his staff for all their cooperation, as well as Lawrence Tech and Mayor Percossi's office. Everyone has just been fantastic to work with. Last year we had 300 folks. This year we're expecting around 500, if not more. It's been a great day. This morning I started off at the TV20 Studios, WXYZ, just across the street on 10 Mile, and it was part of their morning show. The gentleman, Bill Lucas, I'm sure many of you know, from Lawrence Tech University. We had a great on-air interview, and that's getting a lot of press. And Jason Brown from Publicity was nice enough to coordinate all that as well. We have a bunch of fun giveaways. The shirt, the medals are not in yet, but they will be this week. They are so cool. They have the skyline of the Southfield Town Center. We're giving away this really cool sports backpack, and it's got a lot of the major sponsors on here. The important thing is that the sponsors get the recognition that they well deserve for the funds that they're putting forward. So we're making sure that that happens. And these are the posters that we've been putting around at a lot of different venues in the city and different sporting run shops. And we're of course online. It's called runmichigan.com, on Facebook and Twitter and all the popular sites that the running community goes to. So we are super happy the Parks and Recreation Department is loaning us the big music stage. So that'll be delivered this Friday to the parking lot over there by River Fieldhouse, and can't thank that staff enough for all the cooperation that they've given us, and it's going to be a great event. The 1 Mile Family Sunset Stroll is open to all ages and abilities, and it stays on the campus. We have the full cooperation of Lieutenant Brian Bassett and Sergeant Katie Snyder and the entire police department, as well as the fire department is going to have their ladder truck there, and they're going to have the United States American flag there, and that's where we'll do the national anthem. It's quite moving, and we're having a bunch of running stores come to the event to both participate in their big banners, the trucks, and we have really cool custom banners, and New Balance will be there selling some of their wares, and helping people if they want to try on shoes or get good running advice and things like that. So, and then it's going to go on till 11 o'clock. We're going to have refreshments, kids activities, so it's an all-family affair.
Give us some time.
Sure.
Date.
This Saturday, June 20th, starts at 7:30 p.m. It's the longest Saturday night. The summer solstice is officially Sunday the 21st, which was the date last year. But this year is just 1 day earlier, so it's the longest Saturday night. So for more information on the web, southfieldsummersolstice.com, SOULSTICE, to give it a little bit of vibe, which is the presenting sponsor, and we welcome anybody and everybody to attend. Thank you for your time. Thank you very much.
Nice job. Madam Chair,
Excuse me, Mayor.
Yes.
Mr. Brady has a question.
Yeah, it starts at 7:30.
Yes, sir.
Saturday night.
Yes, sir.
And there's a 10K run.
And a 5K run or a walk, and the 1 Mile Family Sunset Stroll.
I just wondered for the slow runners, you could give them flashlights?
It doesn't really get dark until after 9:30. Police will be on, as well as the traffic and engineering barricades, and we have course marshals at all the major intersections. So they're asked not to do their posts until 9 o'clock. We will have a sweep vehicle or a golf cart for sure to make sure that the slowest runner is well protected and guarded, and make sure that they get back to the start finish line safe and sound.
The features, Myron, you and I are going to be in that walk. You're quite keen, I'll bring mine up.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Madam Chair, if I could, take the other item I have here, which is the presentation that we have from Bill Johns. Bill, could you come forward? Well, he's coming forward. They had a fantastic program, and I'm not going to tell you about it because this is the young man that made it all happen, and it just was one of the great events of the year, as far as I'm concerned. Why don't you tell a little bit about the event that you had?
Council President, Council Mayor, no community can be sustainable if it's not disaster resilience. Here in the city of Southfield, we take disaster preparedness as a whole community approach. We together partner with our citizens, with our business community, and our critical infrastructure to create a tripod to create a solid foundation for our city. On June 4th, we had a disaster preparedness countywide exercise that we participated with the police department, fire department, all of the city employees. What that was a public health emergency. We had close positive, we offered medications, simulated medications to all city employees and their families in advance of a disaster, so we could make special recognition from Oakland County, and I'd like to present this to the mayor. Oakland County Department of Health and Human Services, this recognition is presented to the city of Southfield for your commitment as a community department and emergency preparedness planning. Kathleen Horsley, manager of the health department, and Theodore Quisenberry, the manager of Oakland County Homeland Security Division.
While Bill's here, I just would like to comment. We used to have civil defense in our city years ago, and it turned into emergency management, and then they changed it to Homeland Security. And we've been so far ahead of any other city in this regard. And those individuals who have headed up those things like civil defense and emergency management, now with Homeland Security, have really done the job, and I don't think too many people really know about it. When we have an emergency, under the law, the mayor is supposed to declare a state of emergency after the governor, and he'll take some charge, but we know that really isn't happening. We have police and administration and fire and everybody jumping and getting into the thing, which is great because they handle the emergencies. But through the years, it's kind of lost the focus of the organization. And I was at the meeting with Bill to say that we have to get fine-tune this so that everybody knows what they have to do, when they have to do it, and that everybody can do the job and we can save lives at the same time. And that's where we're headed with that. And I hope that in the future, whoever's mayor continues this, because this is so important. We take Homeland Security, only when you have a disaster, we start looking for it. But those are with FEMA and all that stuff. I mean, all the hours that they put in and all the money that they got, all the help to the people who had floods and the basements that were taken care of, and the money that they received through the Homeland Security, is something we don't really take note of often enough. And so I'd like to thank all those that work with Homeland Security and all the departments of public safety that join in when we have emergencies, because they do a fantastic job. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. The next presentation is on the neighborhood stabilization program. Edward?
Madam President, Honorable City Council, we wanted to present to City Council a check, and it represents the repayment of a loan that the city authorized in fall of 2008. The city of Southfield was fortunate enough to receive neighborhood stabilization funds in 2008 in the amount of $3.2 million. And then again, from Neighborhood Stabilization, NSP, Neighborhood Stabilization Program 3, another $1,084,000. We were very fortunate that the city was in a position through our LIRF, our Local Improvement Revolving Loan Fund, that we were able to advance those monies. In advancing those monies, we were able to stretch those dollars, and the program combined through program income became $7.5 million. We're in the final stages of wrapping up the program. I want to recognize Dana Pegler, who's been extraordinary in finishing up the program. So the check we want to present tonight is for, and we never borrowed the full $3.2 million, but we did borrow $2.7 million, and that has been fully paid back. together. We were able to assist 57 families with NSP 1 and 2. We currently have 4 properties left to wrap up with 2 sales pending, and we have with us one of our realtors, Wendy Hopkins with RCH Brokerage. She was one of our go-to people when we were acquiring and selling homes. The other realtor is Robinson Williams. Robinson's Realty here in Southfield. We have one other home that we'll be working on. It will be a new construction that will happen. Tonight on the agenda, there were 4 single-family homes, which we discussed at our last committee of the whole, and we're asking the city to accept those properties, allow the deeds to be transferred to the city. That was for green space preservation next to open parks. So as we come down to the final stages of this, part of this presentation is for the general public to know that the LIRF loan has been paid back. The program's been successful. We continue to work with HUD on the final program income and the disposition of those dollars and trying to keep those monies within the city of Southfield. And we have some families in the audience tonight, who we help if they could stand and be recognized. And I just want to state this, it's been a delight working with a lot of the families. And then I know Diana works with them a lot more now, but from encouraging people to get involved in our neighborhood associations. And I'm seeing families who we work with in the NSP program are now working with different commissions and volunteering in the committee and neighborhood.
To your honorable body, first of all, I want to say thank you. You made a very wise decision. There are many families who are very happy, and they chose to live in Southfield, which is the center of it all. And they are taxpayers, which is also extremely very important. And it's our pleasure to be able to have paid this loan back in full. We could not have done it with a lot of supportive help through our code enforcement, your housekeeping, working with our property rehab contractors. Our realtors were absolutely invaluable. Robinson Realty and Management Group and RCH Brokerage Legacy. So again, we want to thank you so much, and I hope our families are extremely happy.
Thank you for all your hard work. All right, Mr. Frazier.
One question. The majority of the families, did they come from another community into Southfield, or were they renters in Southfield and now are homeowners? What, a mixture of both, or what?
A mixture of all. Some were renters here in Southfield already, and they decided it was time for them to become homeowners. Others came from other communities, so it covered the gamut.
Good. I mean, I think that's the way America works.
That's right.
Good. Congratulations to all of the new homeowners in Southfield. You're going to find out that it is the center of it all. But it also takes work on your part to maintain the center of it all. It's a team effort. Thank you.
I echo those comments. The next presentation on the agenda is Mr. Carlos Gilling, Senior. He's here, and I've asked him to come forward. He works with the Southfield Jayhawks football. And we have a lot of youth in our community, and we need to get them engaged. Last month we had the individuals from the baseball camp, and now we've got Mr. Gilling with football. So why don't you tell the community what you're doing and how we can get our young folks involved.
Okay. My name is Carlos Gillings from the Southfield Jayhawks organization. I'm the athletics director. I'm over football and cheer program. We've been existing here in Southfield for over 65 years and still going strong. Right now, we practice at Brace Letterly. That's on 9 Mile. Address is 18575 9 Mile. We have 7 home games. 4 of our games are at Southfield High. Our ages range from flag football, 5 and 6, tackle football, unlimited weight, 7 through 14. Cheer, we have a cheer program also, which Carlos is standing in the need of. More cheerleaders in our community. We also, ladies and gentlemen, talk about our athletes that's out here in Southfield that came through our program. What we teach, guys, is athletics is second. Being a student is first. Last year we had 18 children, football players that come through our organization that got full ride scholarships to college. And this year we had 14 that come through our program that got full scholarships for football. So we just want to thank the city of Southfield for allowing us to speak today. If you have children from the age of 5 to 14, we have to explain them out personally. Our time is from 6 Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 o'clock p.m.
And it's not too late for them to get involved?
No, it's not too late. Our open registration is now until June 22nd. That's when we start going 5 days a week, once school is over.
All right, very good. And Carly Jones, you were with the cheerleading. Okay, can you talk about that as well, to get our young ladies involved?
Right now, we're doing a camp right now for the young ladies, where that consists of tumbling, stunting, and things of that nature. We're right now in the process of trying to recruit young ladies between the ages of 5 to 14 to get them active, off the couch and sit in front of the TV, especially in the summertime. So we're recruiting young ladies, 5 to 14. If you know any young ladies, we're open to them. So basically that's just it. We're doing tumbling, stunting, gymnastics, everything.
And how can they get in touch with you to become a cheerleader?
You can get in contact with me, Carlos Gillings, area code 248-252-2597, and then I'll give you the actual numbers to the people in charge of those.
Okay, very good, good. We want to get our children involved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
The next individual that I'm going to ask to come forward is Christina Alexander. And the city of Southfield will be joining with her with a Miss Southfield pageant. And I think she's coming forward and she's going to give some information about that as well for our young people.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Miss Alexander, Miss Michigan United States 2012, and I'm excited to be able to bring this opportunity to the city of Southfield. We would like to have an opportunity to put together an annual event for young ladies ages 9 through 26 years old. This program is affiliated with Miss USA, and it's about empowering young ladies and encouraging them to do the best that they can be. And here in the city of Southfield, as a former resident, and my kids haven't gone through the city school district here, I'm excited to be able to give back to the community and just bring this program to the girls, to the city. With this program, we have the competition itself is a one-time annual event that comprises of workshops monthly throughout the year. These girls will learn interview skills, leadership skills, community service skills. They will have the opportunity to learn beauty and fashion tips, and also be able to partner with Toastmasters and learn more about public speaking and communication skills. These girls will compete in the area of interview and on-stage questions, fun fashion wear, evening gown, which promotes poise and elegance, and they also have an opportunity to talk about what they're doing here in the community for the city of Southfield. For judging the competition, we'll have our local businesses and community leaders be the ones to help choose who will be our next ambassador. The young lady who wins Miss Southfield USA will go on to compete for Miss Michigan USA this September 2015. girls will be able to do free workshops throughout the summer that will be held here in the city of Southfield Visiting Center. They will be trained by industry professionals, modeling agencies, talent agencies will come in, Toastmasters will come in, and they will train the girls for 2 hours every other weekend until the pageant itself. Our community can get involved by helping to sponsor young ladies and to also help with the investment for producing this pageant itself. We hope the young ladies will be able to be spokespersons and advocates and ambassadors for our local businesses here. The registration fee and the cost for girls to be able to be a part of this program is $125. This is a wonderful investment where our girls who do win, they get sponsored for the actual state pageant, which costs over $1,000. We also partner with Baker College and Lindenwood University and Oakland University too to provide scholarships for the young ladies as well, which all provide enhancements to their education. Are there any questions regarding the program?
So how does the young lady get involved? How can they contact you? Is there a website?
Yes, thank you. There's a website, and it's MissionaryStrikePageants.com, and there's a link for the City of Southfield, and also there will also be a link on the City of Southfield's website as well, where they can actually go online and register and apply and download the application form itself.
All right. Any other questions, Councilman? Thank you very much. All right, we will move to the minutes of this session. Councilman?
Madam Chair,
Mr. Frazier.
I move that we approve the special meeting minutes of March 31st, 2015, the meeting of April 14th, 2015, the April 18th meeting of 2015, and the April 27th meeting of 2015. Support.
We have a motion by Mr. Frazier, supported by Mr. Cruz, to approve the minutes as noted. Any questions? Mr. Mayor Brown.
Just to clarify on the meeting minutes for April 27th, on page 15, there is a motion for 2015.97. It should read the motion was made by Ms. Seymour and seconded by Mr. Cruz. And also on page 17, the motion should be made by Mr. Frazier and seconded by Mr. Cruz.
The motion by Mr. Frazier. Madam Clerk, would you make those remarks?
Yes, we did, thank you. We will make the corrections.
Okay, we have a motion on the table with the corrections. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We will move to the consent agenda. Items, council, are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda?
I would like to remove the Horsetail Woods item.
So that's consent agenda A is going to be removed, and I would like to have removed consent agenda B. Okay, so we'll move forward with the consent agenda B is the acceptance of the Michigan National Resources Trust Grant for Engleman Park renovation project in the amount of $280,000. Consent agenda C is the acceptance of a Land and Water Conservation Fund grant for the Pebble Creek Play Area project in the amount of $100,000. Consent agenda D is the acceptance of the Beechwood Group Picnic Area Improvement Project grant in the amount of $45,000. Consent agenda F is the authorization to purchase a replacement postage meter machine for central services in the amount of $10,068 and $519.92 per month for 5 years. Consent agenda G is the authorization to purchase office supplies and other business-related service projects in the amount not to exceed $44,000 annually. Consent agenda H is the authorization to purchase an interview recording and management system for the police department in the amount of $21,283. Consent agenda I is the appointment of representatives and alternatives to the Southeastern Oakland County Water Authority, that being Ms. Lee Schultz and Mr. John Mishima. Consent agenda J is the approval of agreement for the reconstruction of 9 Mile Road from Beach Road to Telegraph Road. Consent agenda K is the approval of the agreement for the reconstruction of the southbound Northwestern Highway Service Drive from Bird Road to Evergreen Road. Consent agenda L is proposed agreement with the City of Lakewood Village for continuing provision for the fire department and the police and fire dispatch service for a 2-year period beginning July 1st, 2015. Consent agenda M is receive bids for the reconstruction of 11 Mile Road from Franklin Road cul-de-sac to the cul-de-sac. Consent agenda item N is receive bids for section 26 water main installation. Consent agenda O is receive bids for section 25 phase 1 water main and paving improvements. Consent agenda P is receive bids for the sewage lift station corrosion protection project, system project. Consent agenda Q is the West Nile virus prevention funding assistance. Consent agenda R is the property transfer of 4 vacant lots to the City of Southfield. Consent agenda item S, the request for adoption of the Freedom of Information Act procedures and guidelines and written public summaries of procedures and guidelines and an itemized fee sheet in compliance with the State of Michigan update. Consent agenda item T is the third quarter budget adjustment. So we'll entertain a motion to adopt those consent agenda items.
Support.
We have a motion.
But I have a question too.
We have a motion by Ms. Seymour, supported by Mr. Frazier. Mr. Frazier.
Yes, item J, do you want to go back to the administrator? You want to pull item J?
No, we want to keep that on there to sign the contract with the state. Ms. Schultz is here. One of the things we want to lock the funding from the state. The number of issues going on with the Federal Highway Trust Fund, as well as the state, we want to lock it in. We're not going to award the bid though. So this is just our contract with the state, not necessarily awarding the bid on the project.
Are you okay with that, Mr. Frazier?
Does it have to be East Coast?
Okay.
Ms. Schultz is here.
I understand, it's almost a pro forma, kind of, okay.
Typically, when these bids are open, the state is giving their contracts. In theory, the contract should be coming to us before. These projects run so closely to the bid and that we see them come in at the same time. But I want this contract in place with the state to lock the funding in.
Yeah, the part that threw me was the approved the $1.3 million from our budget in this straight up.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Seymour, supported by Mr. Frazier, to approve consent agenda items as noted, excluding A and E. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I just have a couple questions.
Sure.
I'm sorry. Item F, the replacement of the postage machine. What happens with the unused postage that has been deposited into that machine? Does it transfer over to the new machine? Is it refunded?
I am looking for, is Laverne here?
Yes.
Ms. Walker can answer that question.
Through the chair, the answer is yes, it is transferred to the new postage machine.
Okay. The other question I have is on item K, with the reconstruction of southbound Northwestern Highway. With the construction that Durr will be doing, will that ruin any of the new work that?
I'm going to direct that question to Ms. Schultz, she's here, and
Those heavy construction machines, you don't want to see that new concrete get ruined.
Right, and through the chair, when these projects are built, these service drives are built as major roads, so they are able to handle the heavy truck traffic loads.
There's no concern?
I mean, it's additional truck traffic on that stretch of road because of that big construction at Durr, but those are things outside of our control. We build the roads to be able to handle the truck traffic.
Okay.
and if I could just, if I may, Madam President, you said new concrete, this is a
Well, part of this project and in front of Durr, it is actually probably about halfway in front of the Durr property. We have reconstruction from Bird to just past that Lasser Road exit, and that is going to be, oh, you know me right, that is, we are reconstructing an asphalt there. And then the remainder of it will be milling the existing surface and placing new asphalt.
Okay. I do have one last question on item Q, West Nile prevention funding. I think we're going to educate the residents of the city and about West Nile virus and treatment, and we're going to treat the city-owned properties that need to be. However, my question is, what about the businesses with their water retention systems?
I'm going to direct that to a stormwater engineer.
If we're only, treating part of the problem, I guess the question is, what do the other property owners have to do?
Good evening to the chair. We do provide educational brochures and stuff to businesses, but we don't, we can't necessarily put the mosquito dumps in their detention ponds because we don't own them. So that's something that we would recommend to them. I could get with Shelley and have her put something maybe in the business newsletter. We have had information on our cable as well that, tells private entities how to maintain their sites for West Nile virus.
And we can certainly work with code to reinforce that message and a gentle reminder to the business community that West Nile is something we all need to be concerned with. And we've already had our first case in Michigan.
Not in Michigan, I believe we've had a couple in
The birds have been, we found birds in Michigan.
Okay, yes, so that's.
But no humans yet.
And usually they show up at a later time, so it's not surprising.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. We have a motion by Mr. Frazier, supported by Ms. Seymour, to adopt the consent agenda with exclusions. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So we'll go with the first consent agenda item that was pulled, and that's consent agenda item A, Mr. Frazier.
Yes, my concern is that it's a multi-party agreement in order to acquire the piece of property for sale woods, and one of the parties is the owner of the piece of property. They're going to donate their property to offset the 30% that the city of Southfield is supposed to come up with. The amount is $42,750, and my question is, what happens if, when the assessment is made of the property, doesn't turn out to be that expensive? Are we prepared to plug the hole, or?
Well, I'm going to ask Mr. Block to join us, and he and I did discuss this afternoon, and he's been equipped to respond.
Good evening, through the chair. Mr. Frazier, the city's, the plug figure, if you will, is nominal. Basically, it's a grant the amount is $99,750. The assessment comes back lower. Mrs. Shy, her husband, Mr. Shy, they'll basically work with the city to plug that figure. So the out-of-pocket cost for the city, in the worst-case scenario, is de minimis, between $3,000 and $4,000 for assessment, processing different paperwork, things of that nature.
Okay, so, it's not going to be...
To give you an example, if the assessment came in at $100,000, then the grant amount would adjust downward to $70,000, and the donated land, which we don't have to pay anything. There's a form that DNR requests them to fill out. That would be zero, and essentially, the market value would be $30,000 if it comes back assessed. We recoup there. If it's the maximum amount of the grant is a shade under $100,000. If the property assesses at $100,000, if the property assesses at that is right before I came. At 70, there's the plug figure is 30 with minimal incidental costs being put in by the Parks and Rec operating budget.
But if I may, Madam President, the seller of the property is donating at 30%.
Correct.
So if the appraisal comes in at $150 and the grant would cover 70%, then...
There's a form called a waiver of just compensation, and they have agreed to sign off on that. So again, the city's downside risk is very minimal. It's just the incremental costs. They've agreed to sign off on that. And then if it comes in higher, then the city and the other party can negotiate from there. And in the worst case scenario, the city has the right to just cancel the whole agreement outright. So again, there's very little downside risk.
Okay, when it's all said and done, do we give the person that donated the land some documentation so that they can declare that in their income taxes as a donation to the city?
Absolutely.
And would it be the 30% or would it be the assessed value of the property?
It would be my understanding is the assessed value. I'm not familiar with the details of the form.
Okay, I don't want you to see anything on camera that
I understand.
we may end up testing our new FOIA rules.
Yes. I mean, this is actually, it's a good problem to have.
Okay.
Basically, it's an excellent example of stormwater management. The parcel is located off Bergen 8 Mile. It's in the middle of a floodplain. It would increase the number of acres from 23 to 29. And they're very willing to basically donate the land, because the redevelopment value, in their opinion, just isn't there.
Okay, thank you. You've answered the question.
All right, we'll entertain a motion on the acceptance of the first sale grant. We have a motion by Mr. Frazier, supported by Ms. Seymour. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Then we'll move to consent agenda item B. This is an item that I have asked to be removed, because we'll be voting no, and I wanted a consent portion. This has to do with the bids for branding and marketing for the smart zone, and I understand there were a total of 6 companies that bid, 2 companies were interviewed, and there was one minority company that did submit a bid, and they were not the successful bidder. I just personally believe that this would have been a great opportunity, and I spoke with our business development manager to give a small minority company an opportunity to bid or to receive this bid. And I think one of the questions that came up is that the company didn't know that they could ask questions. So It wasn't like they didn't submit a bid that was not acceptable, but there was some other questions that needed just to be asked. And I know that our numbers are not the greatest in terms of us awarding bids to minority-owned companies. So with that, I am voting no, in addition to seeing that there's an option for a 2-year extension. So I'm voting no, but I will entertain a motion.
Support.
So a motion by Ms. Seymour, supported by Mr. Frazier. Mayor Pataki.
Yes, I have a comment on this. I don't want to get into that. I'm for this bid because we had an interview with Nikki and the committee, and I respect those committees that have put forward to go through all these bids and give recommendations. But the thing that I am concerned about is that we have to get all our marketing under one roof and in one fund, so that we have one company bidding on our marketing, so that if city center needs some marketing advice or whatever, they go to a committee or to the head of that fund and request it, and either get it denied or not, or whatever happens. But we have the smart zone going up, and we have the city center, and we've got the downtown development, and we have community relations marketing the city as a whole. And I just think that we need to get all our marketing under one roof, that we understand what we're trying to attain by the marketing and what we want to achieve. And if the smart zone is part of it, that's fine. But there has to be some kind of a thing. I mean, General Motors advertises the State of Buick, but they have one group that loans money to that division so that General Motors is funding it. And I think that's what happens here, is that we've got to coordinate so that we really don't want to nitpick each one of these little things, whether or not we want to go that route or not. We have the smart zone up there, and I want to make sure that they also have it here at Civic Center Drive and Northwestern with the Marks Building. So, I mean, it's kind of spread all over. We have the city center, and they're saying, well, this was $40,000, and this was $60,000. I think all of that should be under one roof. And I'd like to also see an organizational chart of how that is going to work, so that we can get the most bang for the buck, so to speak, in marketing the city. Marketing is very needed in every business and also in cities. And I think that if we pool all the money together, we can do a better job in what we're doing.
So it's a matter of pulling all the money together as well as all the individuals that have different components, people, community relations.
Well, like, the city center has $189,000. They go through their budget, they allot $40,000 for marketing. Well, they got $189,000. I'd like to see them use it specifically for incidentals that they need to work on, as they have benches and trash containers and maybe plants and whatever they may have. But marketing goes to that one or individual committee that says, no, it isn't. Senator Bernal is a good example. Senator came over and we asked him to come up with a marketing plan. And he said, go stick with Senator Bernal. So we did, and everything was set in place, and Senator Bernal became our logo, so to speak. Well, you can have other parts being funded for marketing, but it all should come down to one thing. We're marketing the city of Southfield and not be spread all over the place.
Right.
And And I guess I feel real strong about that. Corporations have one department that markets it. I know that even to the napkin in Applebee's, the signage outside the door, one person judges the concept, the drawings, the artwork, and one person funds it. And I think that's the way it should be.
So it's a matter of marketing and messaging.
I'm trying to spell this out because it's important that we go forward, but I think down the line here, we better really do that.
Without any opposition on council, I think, Mr. Zorn, we can have that scheduled for an upcoming meeting. Mr. Cruz.
I just wanted to support your sentiment as it relates to minority contracts in the city, and would actually ask if the city administrator could, at a future meeting, maybe go through the RFP process that the city does and make sure that, that we have as much transparency as possible and that everyone has, the same opportunity to be a part of this process. I mean, we're a city that, we just recently passed the L.A. Larson ordinance. We're talking about openness and diversity and opportunity for everybody, and that has just been a point of contention. People haven't been asking me about that same issue for a while. I would just like to know that I don't know what to tell them to say how many minority contracts do we have, or whatever the case may be as it relates to that, and then as well as what the process is. So if we could make that something that we could have as part of our discussion at a future meeting, I'd appreciate that.
And sure, I'd like to have one more thing, and all respect to Councilman Cruz, at a council president's meeting, our purchasing person explained the purchasers and the committee and how they ended up with this individual that got the bid. And I just think that all council ought to hear those kinds of things so they clearly understand that it is all on the up and up, it's all fairly done, and we don't have questions that may slant that we don't give minorities jobs, and it's just the opposite.
I'm not voting against this. All I'm saying is in the future, I would like to be a part of that.
And I think resolving the opposition, we like to have that included. I get those questions as well as Ms. Seymour.
Thank you, Mr. People don't understand, and I think it's good to have this discussion, but there are some things we are asked to do that are illegal for us to do. So we have to abide by the law.
But there's some ways that we can really identify what we're doing, identify companies, identify our numbers, so we're not asking anybody to do anything illegal, we're just wanting to know what does our records reflect on who we're giving bids to.
We're not asking them to do anything illegal, sometimes we're asking us to do things that
Oh,
are illegal.
no, absolutely not.
Yes. So if I understand this correctly, we had 6 proposals, 2 came back to interview, 1 was a minority company.
They didn't get
the interview.
No, they didn't get the interview.
But then there's still 3 other companies that did not get back an interview. Were they all the same reason? Were they different reasons? Were they not? I guess that's part of the question is, out of the 6, only 2 came into interview. So the other 4,
Well, our purchasing department facilitated the process. I personally was not involved in the review. The committee, I believe, was our business development officer, I think our deputy administrator, purchasing, and community relations were the entities that reviewed. The company being recommended is a Southfield based firm. We currently have no preferences within our purchasing ordinance. Under Michigan law, it's my understanding that we can have a local preference, and that is one of the items that when we put this under the microscope, we will review. Let me state this, our business development group as well as our purchasing group are working on a number of, I believe in October, we have a fair scheduled with, if I may, if Ms. Freeman can speak to our procurement fair that's being put together. It's October?
Good evening, yes, on Wednesday, October 7th, I believe, we'll be working with Denso Corporation and multiple ethnic chambers of commerce, including the Michigan Black Chamber, the Asian Pacific, the Hispanic Chamber, and the Southfield Chamber. I believe that's all of them. We're having one of the largest diversity procurement events in the country. The Denso Corporation is going to be inviting many of the large auto suppliers. We'll be enlisting healthcare suppliers and technology companies to come together so that they can showcase different opportunities to do business with these large corporations. We'll also have examples of small businesses in the metro area that have successfully received awards from these large corporations, and to showcase how you go about being prepared to bid on large projects with companies. Many companies of all races are sometimes unprepared. They don't have the proper knowledge on how to do business with large corporations. They don't have the proper insurance or the wherewithal. So this will give everyone an opportunity to learn the different skills that are important to have in place in order to do business with large companies.
All right. Okay, thank you. So we do have a motion by Ms. Seymour, supported by Mr. Frazier. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. We'll move to the public hearing portion of our agenda. And the first one is the confirmation of hearing for the special assessment for the Bridge Street Bridge project. Mr. Crowley, you in the audience? Okay, Mr.
Okay, so this is our final step, our step 5 in establishing the special assessment district for the reconstruction of Bridge Street and Hilltop Road. So you've heard this spiel before a couple of times, but these streets are going to be reconstructed fully in concrete with concrete curb and gutter, and we are proposing the cost share with the property owners to complete this. We did have a bid opening, which you'll see later in the agenda tonight. The prices did come back quite a bit higher, and in order to keep the integrity of that SAB so that the preliminary assessment role doesn't change too drastically for our property owners, I am proposing that the city absorb a large portion of that overage from what we estimated. So percentage-wise, our city share, we were anticipating a 16% cost share, and now this would be a 38% cost share. So our total project cost is now $2,517,270. There's a revised final assessment roll that is reflective of the actual bid prices that are attached as part of the item, which indicates each property's final share for their parcel and a breakdown of what those yearly payments will be. Yes, we can open up to any public comments at this time.
Okay. This is the public hearing for the confirmation for the special assessment project of Bridge Street and Hilltop reconstruction. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to address the council as it relates to the Bridge Street and Hilltop reconstruction, that was your opportunity. You have 3 minutes to address the council.
Pamela Gerald, P.O. Box 155, Southfield, Michigan 48037-0155. My telephone number is 248-346-0439. I just want to have the residents watching to be clear that live in this quadrant of the city as to whether or not they're going to share in any cost for this special assessment. If my memory serves me correctly, and I always stand to be corrected, is this the district that's going to have the enclosed block medical marijuana facility? And if so, how or to whom will the special assessment be given to? And that's my question. And
this is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council that you would like to be hearing for the Bridge Street Bridge and Hilltop reconstruction? Being done, we'll declare the public hearing closed. Council.
And then, Charlotte, move approval of, item A, public hearing for special project for Bridge Street and Hilltop reconstruction.
Support.
We have a motion by Ms. Seymour, supported by Mr. Frazier. Any questions?
I do.
Mr. Frazier.
When our engineer was at the microphone, if I heard it correctly, we were going to absorb about 16% of the cost, and now it's 38%. How can we be that far wrong?
What we're finding this time of year in this particular construction season is that our road contractors are very busy. And we're seeing, like we did with, well, like MDOT did with that bid opening for the 9-mile project, is that these contractors just aren't as hungry for work. And they're pricing it, that they'll do it if it's for the right price. But I just think there wasn't any one particular item. There's probably a dozen different items that the prices are much higher than we would have anticipated. And I think that the contractors are just pretty full as far as their schedule goes.
Has the cost of materials gone up that much, or are they just padding their profit?
Well,
I mean, we should be keeping up with the cost of things when we do our estimates.
right, and the price from last year to this year, the material prices did go up, both for concrete and asphalt. Those were reflected in our bid estimate. So we can't really use that as our excuse. Some jobs are coming in a little more in line with the estimate, and maybe just depending on the scope of work and which contractor in particular is bidding on it.
You know, we're in the front end of the construction season for these new jobs, and it's a little distressing to think that every time that we get another construction job, that we're going to be faced with digging into our reserves in order to get the job done, to make roads that we can be proud of, or have a project done that we can be proud of. That it's almost like we're being hijacked, and that's pretty distressing. That at the end of the construction season, they're going to be headed off to some warm climate to spend the rest of the winter, and we're going to be sweeping up the bottom of the vault to find out a few coins to put back in our savings. I would just say that, well, I just hope that we can somehow or another get ahead of this and either say we're not going to do the job this year, or we're going to find some other contractors that maybe not be as hungry as, or maybe a little more hungry than the contractors that we picked. So.
If the roads in this particular area weren't in the condition that they're in, I may recommend that we wait until next year and try again and see if we get better prices. I think the property owners in here, even though they're not all happy about participating in the special assessment district, they do all recognize and are very supportive of this project moving forward this year. So we'd like to see that happen, and we'll be recommending award under the administration's items tonight.
I know where you can find Fairmount. That's on Evergreen Road between 12 and 13 miles.
Hey.
Thank you.
We'll come back to that one soon enough.
Thank you.
I have a question as well, Lee. What part of money is this coming out of? What money is this coming out of?
This is coming out of our road bond fund.
You know, I have to agree with Mr. Frazier because the increase in price is actually $681,000. And we just, under our budget, decided not to do 9 Mile, which is in badly need of new pavement. I just cannot in good conscience support this one. It should be funded by those individuals that are directly impacted, those businesses that are directly impacted. And we're going to take the money that the voters voted for, including myself, to fix the roads, our roads in our city. I just cannot in good conscience vote for this.
I mean, that's up to council,
Yep.
and we'll move forward with whichever way you decide this evening. You know, some of the discussions with the property owners at our public hearings, the business community does also pay into this road bond, and they were not happy that the city wasn't participating more, or, you know, that they were having to pay at all for some of the property owners. So we were we put some of the increase on them, and the assessment roll reflects that, but we were trying to be fair and to not have it look too different for the property owners for the assessment that they can expect. This is certainly up to our discretion if we want to pull this item, maybe do it next year. This year, we're on a bit of a time frame now to get it done this construction season. The award would probably have to happen tonight, but if we're going to pull it and do it next year, then we, you know, could come back with a revised assessment roll if you'd like more of a cost share when we rebid it to be that burden put on the property owners. We can do it that way as well.
Yeah, this particular project, while it's a city road, it's almost a private road, because it only serves those people that are in that development.
Correct.
And so it's not like 100,000 cars go up and down the road. That's a destination point for the people that cross the bridge and go up Bridge Street, just to go to the businesses there. So they're going to be the beneficiary of it. And the people that are and I don't even want to call them victims, but people that lose are people that are on the 9 Mile Road or some other road that's used for general traffic. And, you know, if the road is bad, and I haven't been on that road recently, so I don't know how terrible the road is. I don't want to have them not have a decent road. I don't know if we can change the thing to a mill and cover, you know, overlay, until we can get a better bid, but I don't want to penalize folks on a true public road because we're spending the bond money on a road that's almost like a private road.
These are still city roads, though, and these are roads that we do maintain and have to keep these roads safe for all the drivers. So
Yeah, we're talking about cost benefit, though.
right.
The cost is high, the benefit is questionable for the general public that voted for the bond. They're going to get $600,000. That, you know, so
Madam Chair,
I don't know.
can I say something? You know, I understand where you're coming from and Byron and the difference in 600,000, you could do 9 Mile Road instead of doing the industrial bridge area. But, you know, if you really plan these projects, like we did 15, 16, and 17, you pretty well know the deterioration level of roads. There's no doubt that 9 Mile Road is in bad shape, but when you look at the light industrial area that we're talking about, where we put the composite bridge, the vacancy rate down there is unbelievable. And I think if we don't do something to contribute to making these businesses marketable and keeping their value up, you're gonna, whatever your $600,000 when you talk about losing value in these industrial buildings, is nothing compared to the loss or the difference of $600,000. If you follow what I'm saying. In other words, if you're sitting there with two empty buildings, light industrial, and you're paying taxes, and the taxes on that are in comparison to residential, just unbelievable. And you look at, and then I talked to Lee about, one of them is like $116,000. I mean, it's not petty change that these people are asked to pay. I mean, I don't know, they range from what, Lee?
They range from $24,000 to $172,000.
Yeah, that'd knock your socks off if you were arrested and had an assessment, and forgetting about that, just the percentage of what these people are paying to have the city road fixed. And I know where you're coming from, and you can, I guess, play that game constantly with the money here instead. I have a lot of people want Bell Road done. People go to the Sheriff's Attic and the road is in bad condition. I talked to Lee about that one today. I'm getting calls. But she's got a tough job. I think you do too, is how do you pick and choose? That's right. And that's what, our roads, for some reason, have all crumbled. Yeah. Franklin Road was $1 million job and then had an $800,000 change order. We do Inkster Road and that thing was a flop. We did 11 Mile Road and that had a little problem. And I said to me, I said, not only are you paying more money, I don't think we're getting the quality. And I think they have people doing jobs that are not trained to do the jobs. I'll give an example. I told Fred and John about it. The day that we had the big rain, instead of blowing open the seams and then putting down hard tar in dry weather, they're putting down the hot tar on wet weather. It's not even blowing out the water out of it. What's going to happen is that stuff is not as easy, but it's going to come up later. And it's already coming up on the fourth tree. On the other side of the street, we already have the snakes coming out, which I call them, is when that little piece comes out and starts swirling. It's already coming out on the west side of this to go. So something is not even being checked out. The quality is bad, and even when you have a cross in the concrete, you see a little chip over here. 2 years from now, they're going to be putting Clopac in there. And that's the problem I see, as a guy who's been in construction, and I look at some, we're way out, I know, and Gary Trussell also, but I get tired of looking at the way they do these jobs. I really am. They don't care. We had 18-wheelers on this stuff, the fossils were on, and they were full on asphalt. And so it's 9.5 inches deep, trucks, Mike said, when these construction trucks like yours go down the other road, well, yeah, that was a construction road when they done Northwestern. And we had to eat it now because they needed a construction road. Same thing as Northland Drive between 8 and 9. That also was a construction road. It belongs to us. And why is the condition it is? Because they use it as a construction road. And now they use Civic Center Drive as a construction road, and pretty soon, even though we did a different kind of a construction process on it, we're going to have trouble with it, just because that isn't 9.5 inches deep. I just get to the point where the quality stinks. I think the 10 of both the inspectors and those were putting down and got the contract, they're just interested in getting the stuff done, getting out, getting their next job. They're so busy, they don't care, trying to move the crews in and out. I just don't think that, they wipe out a lot of, in the economy, they wipe out a lot of construction people, and so there's no left. And those are the guys that are bidding all over the state and other states, and they're getting all the jobs.
Yeah. For me, on this one, no matter what decision we make, we should make the other one. And, I'm going to say to the council, I'm going to give the engineering folks, the professionals, benefit of the doubt on this one. And I'm going to vote for this. But I also want to say that I'm going to be very stiff-necked if the next one comes that, we open up the bids and the bids are, $99 million sounds like a lot. But $99 million can go in a hurry. And I don't feel comfortable going back to our residents and saying, we used all that up, can you give us another increase in road funding? Because we've only done 40% of the roads we thought we were going to do, because the costs were higher. So somehow or another, I got to get some better answers before I vote on future ones.
Well, luckily not all of our bids are coming in like that, and that's bid letting at the same date that they did the 9-mile project. There was the southbound Northwestern Service Drive project, and that one came in 6% under. So that contractor just probably knew they had an opening, and they really wanted the job, and they priced it right. So in some instances, we're not going to be spending as much money as we thought. In other instances, we are. We like to think that overall, we're going to be evening out so that we're staying responsible with these road dollars.
And I fully appreciate what the mayor said, that our businesses pay due to our taxes. So we've got to take care of our businesses so that they're healthy. Because if they move out, they say, I can't attract customers because they don't want to go over a road full of holes, looks like it's been bombed out. So they won't come to my business. I'll go to another location in another community. That doesn't help us at all either. But somehow or other, we've just got to get to the bottom of this.
Madam President, I want to, if I may comment.
Let me go to Mr. Mayor.
Just a quick question. When we bid out these jobs, do the contractors understand that this is a special assessment district? Or are they just looking at the overall job?
Yeah, the actual funding source is not part of any contract documents for the contractors, so for them it's irrelevant. They're getting paid by the city either way. So I'm not sure if the contractors were aware that this was a special assessment.
Okay, so I was just thinking that if they did understand it was a special assessment, they may have raised their fee because they figure that it's just going to be pushed off on the businesses in the area, but if we don't tell them, either they find out or they just don't know that's what the fee structure is, and that's understandable. Thank you.
They are competitively bid, so if a contractor, is going to play that card, he may just end up losing the contract altogether. So there's probably a little bit of the game that they know better than we do.
All right, Mr. Dolan.
I want the council to know before I put my signature to this document, this is a substantial increase. Prior to the village, that our voters approved last November, the 2.58 mils, which will appear on their tax bills, there was a lot of consideration about doing the entire city as special assessments. And we knew the cost of rebuilding some of our residential streets was between $400, $450, $500 a linear foot for concrete, asphalt, and different materials. We made the decision to go through the PACER rating process and develop a plan that over 10 years will bring our roads up into good condition. When I put my signature on this, one of the driving things, and for all the roads, is bringing in other money to this project. The federal projects in 9 Mile, Northwestern Service Drive, all of those are leveraging other dollars, and those are all roads that everyone uses. This street, I do agree, it does function like a private driveway. I also factored into my decision tree process was that this site, when you look at the drawing, the tax yield per acre is one of the higher yielding pieces of property. You've got a very small amount of property with a lot of density, producing a lot of industrial taxes. The industrial part of our tax base is under 2%, a very small part, but the tax yield per acre this is one of our larger pieces. And these folks too are paying that 2.58. And I do want to comment, the original road is 40 years old. The life of a road for new concrete is built up, the engineers will tell you, 30, 40 years. So we've already got the extra 10 years out of it. I'm not happy with when I see these numbers, an $800,000 increase. Candidly, I about stroked out when I saw it. On top of 9 Mile, it was not a good road week. I did take some comfort in hearing the other job came in a little bit less, but for this, knowing that the business owners are bringing to the table $1.5 million on a 2.5, it begins to look like some of our other federal road jobs. So I did sign it. It's a 6-step process. We've gone through, that was the other part of the decision. It's been so long, and the entire time I've been here, I don't think I saw any special assessment on the streets. And it's something that we need to introduce to the community, that this may be part of how these roads are funded. When you talk to the state people, they'll tell you it's going to be a local millage like we've done, something at the county level, something at the state, and the federal. Well, we know the feds are in a mess, because we only, I think we're 45 days in the extension of the Federal Highway Trust at this point. And then the state, we know the debacle that's going on there. So this was a tough one to put my signature on, but knowing that we were 5 steps and that everyone who came into the room, no one was objecting. That was the part that surprised me the most about this, that they all recognized how bad this street is. So I offer that just so you have an understanding of what my thought process was during for this.
Thank you for the input, because that did make a difference in terms of if that is one of the higher areas where, in terms of our industrial tax per acre, that gives me a little bit of comfort. But again, I just don't want to see the dollars that was for the road village city. We're very patient, and we have to be very, very diligent and cautious in terms of where we put those dollars for the roads. All right, we have a motion by Ms. Seymour, supported by Mr. Frazier, to approve the Bridge Street and Hilltop reconstruction project. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next public hearing is the Rezoning Request for ElringKlinger to rezone 14 acres of land, which is currently zoned ERO. Mr. Crozier, take it.
Thank you, Madam Chair. ZR 1325 is a rezoning request of Peter Walker from ElringKlinger, North America, to rezone 16.14 acres of land, currently zoned ERO, Education Research Office, IL Light Industrial, with an overlay development district, property located at 23300 Northwestern Highway. Application was received on March 31st. Planning Commission held a public hearing and made a favorable recommendation on May 27th. The council at their study meeting on 6/1 had some background information presented to them on this item. I have a short video presentation, and the client has a brief PowerPoint presentation prior to the public hearing. And after the public hearing's been held, I'd like to make a recommendation by resolution.
ZR 1325 is a rezoning request of Peter Walker of ElringKlinger, North America, on behalf of the owner, Southfield LLC, to
to rezone 16.14 acres of land from ERO, Education Research Office, to underlying IL Light Industrial, utilizing the Overlay Development District provisions. The properties are located at 23300 Northwestern Highway and vacant land on the west side of the Southfield Freeway, just north of the Southfield Freeway Northwestern Highway interchange. The property to the north is zoned ERO, Education Research Office. The property to the west across Northwestern Highway is zoned OS, Office Service. The property to the south is road right-of-way. The property to the east across the Southfield Freeway is zoned OS, Office Service, RM, Multiple Family Low-Rise, and RC Regional Center. The subject properties are developed with a Staples warehouse building and a vacant lot. The property to the north is developed with the AT&T office complex. The properties to the west across Northwestern Highway are developed with various office buildings. The property to the south is road right-of-way and also an office building. The property to the east is Southfield Freeway right-of-way with residential properties and the IBM office building beyond. The total site contains 16.14 acres of land with 1,508.69 feet of frontage on Northwestern Highway, 1,377.55 feet of frontage on Northwestern Highway Service Drive, and 879.62 feet of frontage on the Southfield Freeway. Issues considered by the Planning Department during the review of the rezoning were the Southfield Comprehensive Master Plan indicating office research for this property, the size of the parcel as it relates to the proposed rezoning. The property is bounded on three sides by extensive freeway right-of-way, and the Overlay Development District Development Agreement for this property.
I'd like to ask the applicant and his team to come forward while we bring up this PowerPoint presentation.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for having us here. We definitely appreciate you taking the time. My name is Stefan Meyer. I'm the Vice President of ElringKlinger Manufacturing. We had the conversation in a few meetings before with the Planning Commission and with the group. So I'll try to make it brief, not too long, all of the information. Of course, if there's anything you'd like to have, either written or electronic copy, everything is available, and we can certainly provide that to you. ElringKlinger Automotive Manufacturing is part of the ElringKlinger Group, and the ElringKlinger Group is a large automotive manufacturer for automotive components, specifically gaskets, e-shells, and plastic components. And we're headquartered out of Germany, but we have a lot of locations around the world, approximately 45 at the moment. And 3 of those we have here in the Detroit metro area. We are in Plymouth, we are in Roseville, and we are in Warren. And we definitely see the need of a consolidation there, respectively expansion, because we're running a lot of constraints in regards to capacity and space. So this is exactly why it brings us here. We are looking for a new home. And we have thought quite a bit of where we would like to be and where we need to be. And we think and feel Southfield that is the right place for us for a few multiple reasons, as outlined already in the previous meetings. We have a good connectivity to our customers. We have a hub. A lot of people are traveling through. We can present us very well. We have good connection to a few of the universities, especially on STEC, where we have a lot of employees already in the past, and we would like to intensify that for certain So overall, a lot of good reasons why we want to be in Southfield. And luckily, as we were, there was this property, the former Staples building that we've just seen, that we would like to acquire, and we're applying for the rezoning in order to make it suitable for our needs. So what would we essentially do to the property and to the building? We have a three-stage plan, essentially. At the end of the year, we would like to consolidate all our three buildings into the existing building on Northwestern Highway. But we would be doing some remodeling, both, of course, to the interior as well as to the exterior. We would be giving it corporate design, a unique design, as we feel also for the building as it is. We would like to make it nicer, bring glass, remodel the entrance, bring some metal panels, as you can see in the front here. A similar thing is what AT&T across the street has. The only difference is they're blue. We would be red. Then we would be painting, especially when we're looking on the north side of the building, the wall, and we would be doing quite a bit change to the landscape. We would put in some shrubs, planting trees, make it accessible for the community, make it nice for the employees. Looking on the east side, that would be essentially the picture how we would be thinking of it. We would see the red metal panels to a certain degree, not to make it too extensive, and further down we would put in the gray metal panels, also to make the outside of the building nicer than it is at the moment. And here along we would see some paths and plants and trees that we would be putting in. The south side of the building faces a large freeway. We would remodel to a certain degree because Staples had a lot of truck wells there that we do not need as many. We would reduce them probably to 4 to 5. So a lot of that look would be changed here. We'd be closing them up and then painting the walls. And also on the right side you see some of the trees. The other side, on the west side of the building, we would more or less, except of just painting, leave untouched, because that is another reason why we would like to have an across building. There's expansion possibility to the west side. So in a few years, and we'll see that in a bit here, we would like to expand, and that's why we do not want to make that much of changes there, because it would be redone anyhow. So what are we looking at? If we're bringing it on 3 slides, phase 1 would be this year. As that, we would like to relocate all our existing buildings into the building with the changes that I mentioned before. On the inside, there would be quite some changes as well, because we would be bringing some manufacturing, besides some office and research and prototype capabilities. And then we will be relocating about 150 people to the site, with about 20 of those being new jobs, because we're going to expand with that building. Phase 2, probably then in about a time frame of 2 years, we would be looking at making it our North American headquarters, bringing in aftermarket business units, bringing in more people, bringing in more technologies, and adding essentially a whole office complex to the north side here of the building in our corporate identity. A lot of glass, a lot of panels, a lot of color, to make it attractive for the community and having it in our corporate identity. We're bringing more sales and more people that we would be hiring for that extension. And then as the last step, in 3 to 5 years, we would be even furthermore be interested in growing, and we see a good chance in the market at the moment, and with that site, growing it to probably about double the size of where we are, extending it to west to the open vacant parcel at the moment, and that would mean bringing in a few more jobs and more sales to the community. So overall, very attractive case for us. We'd definitely like to be part of the community, part of the city, and we hope that we will be successful and you will grant us the right of the rezoning. Thank you very much.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. If anyone in the audience that would like to address the council as it relates to the rezoning request for the currently DRO education research.
Pamela Gerald, P.O. Box 155, Southfield, Michigan 40037-0155. My telephone number is 248-346-0439. This is the type of company that we want to welcome in Southfield. I think if we continue to market the city, we can attract these types of businesses. I'm in total support of the rezoning. I think doing specialized gaskets for the automotive industry is very important. And if we say that Southfield is the center of it all, then those types of companies need to be in close proximity of the big three throughout the southeastern Michigan area. Rochester, Hill, Hamtramck, other plants, Warren, Michigan. I'm hoping that this company explores the option of reaching out to all of the chambers in the city of Southfield. I'm happy to say this is the first time that I've heard any type of diversity form to include all of the chambers. I know that several officials have talked about using their power to bridge the gap between 8 Mile and bring all the ethnicities together to do business, and unfortunately it hasn't been done. So whoever is the orchestrator of such a powwow, I think it's really great. The only other thing I want to say is companies always come in and they say that they want to be good corporate citizens. Make sure you reach out to the Workforce Center at the John Grace area to try and get some local residents for some of these jobs. I would encourage you to do job fairs with all of the surrounding colleges, and good luck. And again, I'm in total support of this rezoning. Don't be ashamed.
Thank you.
Good evening, Geraldine Amato. Since we are all hostage to the design of the architects of our nation, it's how we allocate our resources. And the globalists, the industrial globalists, how we've been suckered into the global economy, contrary to their own vital interests. There's not much we can do except in an extraordinary way. But we, people, are part of the natural creation and the natural economy. And this industrial, I'm talking about industrial, you get an immediate agreement, this is a public hearing. The public should be able to speak what's on their mind. It's related to this, whether you say so or not. Industrial and development are two words that indicate our building against nature and undermining our vitality and our interest in the long term to support ourselves. So while we become more dependent on the globalists to set our agendas for us, and while we undermine the natural economy and the natural terrain and the air, the water, the earth, where we are staying, where we are living, we are setting ourselves up for extermination. We cannot survive in a synthetic, artificial environment in the long term. We are being suckered in. And if we want to thrive as a human race, and if we want to have genuine community, we have to do something other than going along with the program of those who are ruining the natural economy and the natural world, including the natural vitality of the human being that includes us. We're a part of nature by creation. All these industrial and development projects build against nature. And that has a lot to do with the Masonic Brotherhood. They build against nature. They're architects of the world, not the creators. They go against creation itself. And unless the good people with the good sense take the reins and start moving ahead, we are building ourselves into destruction. Yes, industrial and development. We're hostage, all of us. The air and the water and the environment in this area, as God created it, was once supporting our vitality. Now it's undermining our vitality. And more of us are losing our minds, our emotions. We're cut off from our genuine spiritual development, and we're physically sick.
15 seconds.
So if we continue with the agendas of the masterminds and the overlords, we are digging our own grave. It's about time we take control of our own lives.
Yes, I have 3 minutes to address the council as it relates to the rezoning request.
Guten Abend, meine Damen und Herren. Oh, I'm sorry. That's quite a long time. I will report it. My name is Harman Kumpler, 19101 Queen Spruce. I concur with Pamela that this company is certainly welcome in Southfield. As a gateway icon, hopefully, it will stand out. You're going to notice that building from 8 Mile Road on. And I am glad that another German company is coming to Southfield to partner with us too. And like I say, welcome to Southfield. Ich bin froh, dass ihr seid. Und thank you again.
Hello, my name is Charles Leshner. I own an office building, 180,000 square foot building on 16250 North Van Drive. And I wasn't here to speak about your company, but I'm so excited. You're not too far from me, or a mile and a half from me, and I just want to tell you that Southfield is a fantastic community to do business in. I've had nothing but great success in Southfield. I took I took a foreclosure property 17 years ago, and have had nothing but great success, putting great energy in it. I'm just thrilled that you guys are advanced thinkers in doing this, and I hope you people approve this. We need this. Thank you.
This is a public hearing. If you'd like to speak on the rezoning request, Madam Chair.
Yeah, I do.
Good evening. My name is Lynn Taylor, 29221 Somerset Drive, Southfield, Michigan, 48076. I am in agreement, and I hope that you do rezone this property. I have seen the presentation prior to you seeing it tonight, and one thing that the petitioner forgot to tell you is that they had done business here in the city of Southfield some years ago, and so now they're back. We agree that Southfield is the center of it all. We ask that you consider rezoning this property. It would be a win-win for the petitioner as well as the city. We would take a vacant building and make it usable. It's the kind of thing that we're looking for, bringing manufacturing back into the city, bringing jobs back into the city, having businesses pay taxes. So I hope you consider this favorably and consider rezoning. Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience? We'll declare the public hearing closed. Council? Mr. Crowe.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to read a recommended resolution. Resolved that DR 1325 be approved for the following reasons. Number one, the Southfield Comprehensive Master Plan indicates office research for this property, so this is compatible with that. Number two, the proposed rezoning to IL Light Industrial with the Overlay Development District will allow for the development of the property with a new land use compatible with the abutting existing developments in accordance with the ODD Development Agreement. Number three, the property is bounded on 3 sides by extensive freeway right-of-way. Number four, the proposed rezoning will not have an adverse effect upon any of the adjacent zonings or land uses. Number five, subject to review and approval of the development agreement by the city attorney. I also want to add that the council would be approving the ODD rezoning overlay as well as phase 1 of the existing building, but future phases 2 and 3 would come back to the council for specific site plan approval. So although this is a conceptual master plan for the entire parcel, that you will have an opportunity should phase 2 and 3 move forward to specifically approve those site plans. And I just wanted to mention also that they are proposing walking paths around the retention area and including some additional stormwater mitigation on the site.
Thank you.
Madam President.
Mr. Frazier?
For all of the reasons that our planner has shared with us about why this needs to be approved, I move that we approve ZR 1325 rezoning.
We have a motion by Mr. Frazier, supported by Ms. Seymour, to approve ZR 1325. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Need an ordinance number?
Yes.
Ordinance number 1643.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Frazier?
I move that we introduce ordinance number 1643.
We have a motion by Mr. Frazier, supported by Ms. Seymour, to introduce ordinance 1643. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you very much for remaining to these The next item on our agenda is the Economic Development Initiative, and that's a request from Council of Realty to establish an industrial district. Ms. Freeman.
Good evening, once again, Madam Chair, Honorable Board. The City of Southfield has received a request from the owners of the Southfield Town Center and from Hello World for the city to establish an industrial development district and to place a request for a tax abatement for personal property tax abatement for Hello World for a total of 10 years in that district. I'd like representatives from Hello World to come forward and give a presentation. Upon completion of the presentation, we would ask for 2 public hearings, one for the establishment of the industrial development district, and then another for the granting if it's approved for the project. Jen?
Good evening, nice to see you all again. Thanks for having us. Again, I'm Jen Gray. I'm the Senior Vice President of Marketing and Creative Services with Hello World.
And I'm Jay Lange. I'm the Director of Purchasing and Facilities for Hello World. Thank you.
Just to give everyone another brief overview of our company, we were founded in 1999 by Josh Hilltop. Our company was then called ElringKlinger, and we have been thriving for 16+ years. We currently reside in the city of Pleasant Ridge, and we're excited to say we have already broken ground on our new building here in Southfield in the town center, the 3,000 tower. We have grown over the past 16 years. We started as a little tech startup company, and we have acquired 5 companies over the last 3 years. We've also been acquired ourselves by a private equity firm that is injecting dollars for research and development and also our acquisitions to build out our technology. Because we have built out our technology and our capabilities, we rebranded our company in 2014 from ePrize to the name Hello World. And what we do is we are a marketing solutions company. So our clients are the world's best brands, not only locally, but nationwide and globally. We are a niche corporation, and we do all digital marketing. We do promotions, chance to win promotions and contests, loyalty programs, mobile messaging and mobile marketing, and then use analytics as well to help our marketers understand and optimize their marketing to their consumers. We do this across all digital channels, from mobile phones to computers, to in-store signs, to jumbotrons at Tiger Stadium. Who we are, as I mentioned, we're a 400-person strong company. We have 300 people here at our headquarters and offices across the country in New York, Chicago, Nashville, Phoenix, Seattle, and LA. But Detroit will always be our headquarters and our home. We've been in business 16+ years. We run campaigns in 44 countries. We have multiple loyalty programs and campaigns running, say, in 17 countries right now as we speak. We have 1,000 clients. Most of them are 50% of the Fortune 500, as well as small and medium businesses as well. And we've done 4 times more promotions than the next company in the United States. Just to sort of show you an example, here's just a few of the client logos that we have, and we continue to service in our business. And what we do, and you may have seen some of these programs out there, but these are the types of programs we run. For instance, when you're in Starbucks over the holidays and you're interacting for a chance to win or interacting with their loyalty program. You're in the grocery store aisle and you're texting in to get more information from Kraft or a chance to win. You're at an event for the Country Music Association and you're choosing what songs are on the jukebox in between acts. Or you're at Walgreens getting coupon offers from Starbucks or chances to win points in their loyalty program. So that's the type of work that we do and we're proud to do and service clients, like I said, here in Detroit as well as across the country.
Thank you, Jen. So our move into Southfield later this year is scheduled for October of 2015. We will be relocating our company to the 3,000 tower of the town center, occupying 2.5 floors in that building. We'll be moving with us 300 team members, which is our entire Detroit base. It's currently over in Pleasant Ridge, here. We'll be bringing with us a lot of our culture. One of the things we take a lot of pride in is in supporting local businesses by, we run a program called Lunchbox. It allows all of our employees each morning to order lunch from local restaurants. Those restaurants then are handed the orders first thing in the morning and then deliver them to us on site. It's a great way for us to work with the local community, get our people to know kind of who's out there, and just kind of continues to reinforce that we're part of the neighborhood. We participate with a lot of community events. We have everything from a team hockey league to a kickball team to a softball team, flag football. We've done pretty much everything that you can do from a company, and probably the one that we're most proud of right now is that we won an award last year for participating in a corporate battle of bands where our local company put together a team of employees who play music on their own. They made their way all the way to the national finals in Cleveland. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame performed, and we're big winners over there. We're really happy to join the community, happy to work with them. I work for new hires, happy to join the Chamber of Commerce. Really want to become a part of a great community of Southfield, a location we chose because it is the most central location for our team members as a whole. This is an image of what we're working towards in the town center. It's very different from anything the town center property has on site right now. We've worked in conjunction with them. It's a place that they've told us publicly they'll be touring a lot of potential new businesses through to show them that the town center can be competitive with a lot of the buildings that are being renovated throughout the state. That the town center also can be more than maybe what it has been in the past. So what we're here today to do is ask nicely for a tax abatement request. We're requesting a 10-year personal property tax abatement. Estimated portion of the city is, as it shows below, 10-year investment. We will be purchasing around $6 million in IT furniture over that time, about $425,000 in leasehold improvements we see. The amount we're projecting is approximately $275,000 over the 10-year period. And with that, I honestly just want to say thank you very much, and we're really excited to be a part of this community.
Okay, thank you. This is there anything else, Shelley?
No.
All right, thank you. This is a public hearing, and is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council as it relates to the town center request to establish an industrial district?
Pamela Gerald, P.O. Box 155, Southfield, Michigan, 48037-0155. My telephone number is 248-346-0439. And all I can say is, well. I had the honor and privilege to interview Mr. Josh Linkner on my talk show, What Matters, in 2012. Little did I know that Josh Linkner, based on his book, Disciplined Dreaming, would change my entire life. I was so impressed with this man and with this interview that I came back, and Shelley and probably Mr. Zorn can verify, that I often talked about the city asking this man to come in and talk to you about creativity and learning how to maximize the potential of your employees and giving employees the rein to just really do what they're paid to do, even though they're underpaid at this particular time. I don't normally support tax abatement, but I think this is an awesome tax abatement. Josh Linkner is, as she said, the founder of ePrize, which at the time is the largest online interactive promotions company in the world. So you say Fortune 500 companies add to that list, the largest in the world. I'm just very happy. Dreams do come true, and if you can conceive it and talk about it with your mouth, you can achieve it. My creative mentor, Josh Linkner, is going to be in the city of Southfield. My creative mentor that sends me a positive affirmation email every Monday is going to be in the city that I love and have loved since 1983. So I'm in total support of this tax abatement. I know that this company is going to do very well. I think we heard our former councilman, now state representative, Jeremy Moss, talk about getting millennials involved. The average age of the employees is 30, so this will be a great opportunity to get the millennials involved in the community and maybe on some of the boards and commissions here. So I am in total support of my creative mentor, Josh Linkner, bringing Hello World to Southfield. Thank you very much.
Geraldine Amato. Since we, the people of this nation, no longer control the resources of our nation, there's no one that can come forward and say we need to put a moratorium on any further industrial development, because we are building against the natural economy, we are ruining the natural economy, we're consequently destroying our own vitality and our ability to exist in a healthy fashion, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in this place. And it's only a matter of time. We're on borrowed time and borrowed money because the resources of this nation have been confiscated. We, the people, do not control them. The parameters upon which the municipal corporation makes its decisions is controlled by absentee overlords, not by the good people of this area. And increasingly, the good people are feeling the pinch and feeling the oppressiveness of it all. It'll take people of courage and the will to resist what is happening in this nation. We do not have to be further suckered into the globalist industrial world economy. We need to restore control of our own resources in this continent, in this nation, and set a new course for the next generations. And unless we do so, we will inherit ruin for ourselves, if not for ourselves, for our descendants. It's just a matter of time, unless we take the reins and set our own course. And that's what I urge people to consider doing. I see too much disruptive activity. I don't plan to keep coming here and trying to, speak against the momentum of the agendas here. It's aggravating for me to be insulted because I come up here to try to bring attention to matters that I think are not being discussed in the public arena, because the public forum is not controlled by the public. It's controlled by the overlords. They tell us what to talk about and where to talk about it. And anyone that wants to talk about something different is told they're out of order. I'm not out of order. We need to set our own course, not let the masters kick us around and tell us what to do. And in order to survive, we must be yes men and yes women. We need to resist these people. They're evil, they're unscrupulous, they're thieves, they're liars, and they're murderers. And they plan to kill us all, as well as they're killing people all over the earth. the modern industrial globalist is setting the course here, and some of us are doing okay for now, and we got our little projects going, and we're gonna get jobs and this and that, so we're headed for ruination.
This is a public hearing. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to address the council as it relates to this, seeing none, we'll declare the public hearing closed. Council.
And your approval of request of this organization?
We have a motion by Ms. Seymour, supported by Mr. Cruz, to approve the establishment of the Industrial Development District. Any questions?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Mandelbaum.
Yeah, I just wanted to say this is the type of company that Southfield has been looking for. Bringing in the young professionals, we're building the walkability, we're building the housing stock with Arbor Loft and the development in Southfield. That this is exactly what we are trying to accomplish in the city. Located in the town center, there are Lawrence taxis across the street. There's multiple avenues for their employees to continue to grow, to live, and I think this is a great fit for the city. I'm also hoping maybe next year we can get their award-winning band as part of our East of the Beat concert series that we do. So, welcome to the city. We appreciate the investment you're making.
All right, Ms. Seymour.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to say to the group, we talked with you at our study session, and I think we mentioned how excited we were to have you here, and I'm delighted to have you here. I think you're going to be a great addition to our city, to our business development community, and to our community generally. So I just want to say welcome, and what else can we do to help you?
Thank you.
All right. What we're doing is, the first part is establishing the Industrial Development District. So that's the first part of what we're doing. So we have a motion by Ms. Seymour, supported by Mr. Cruz. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now, the second one is the application for the personal property exception. And are there any comments before we open it up to the public?
No.
Okay, we'll open it up to the public and go from there.
It's me again, residents, your independent voice for Southfield, Pamela Gerald, P.O. Box 155, Southfield, Michigan 48037-0155. My telephone number is 248-346-0439. Once again, I'm in total support of this. I mean, no one could have ever told me that a guy that I would interview that would really impress me about creativity and following your heart, following your dreams, could be in this community now as a new tenant. So I'm in total support of the whole entire concept of Josh Linkner, the personal property exemption, and he's got a new book, Reinvent Yourself. Get it? Thank you. I support Josh Linkner. Thank you.
All right, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to address the council as it relates to the application for the personal property tax exemption? Seeing none, we'll declare the public hearing closed. Council.
Madam Chair, I move the approval of the economic development initiative for that personal property tax exemption for all girls.
Support. We have a motion by Ms. Seymour, supported by Mr. Cruz for the personal property tax exemption. Any questions? I just have one comment. I normally look at every exemption very closely, and I know this is a great company coming to Southfield. Glad you're here. Looking at the numbers and the amount of revenue that you have, and I'm just not in favor of this particular tax abatement. So we'll entertain a motion at this time. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, we will move to the communication portion of our agenda at this time. the first person to address the council is Ms. Sheila Gabby, and you have 3 minutes to address the council.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Honorable Board, Sheila Gaddy, 26701 Isleworth Point. I wanted to comment on the remarks that Councilman Cruz made at the May 18th meeting. I am paraphrasing. Mr. Cruz stated that the outcome of the issue between Southfield Association and New Hope Missionary Baptist Church might have been different if all had been elected, or present. I agree with the statement that the Southfield Association did not have the fullest representation that they were entitled to. Sidney Lance has not attended a council meeting in the last several months, yet he continues to receive his taxpayer salary. Taxpayers should not be expected to pay elected officials who fail to show up. Southfield needs to adopt a policy that addresses the frequent absence of a council member. The voice of 7 councilmen is important. If a councilman is not able to serve for an extended period, then an alternate councilman should serve. More importantly, absent councilmen adversely affect the neighborhood by not being here to represent them. Councilman Cruz, and she recognized that the opinion of the council was not fully represented, and that Councilman Frazier will return, along with the addition of Councilman Melvin. You should have made a motion to decide the matter at a later date. Southfield residents deserve to have fresh eyes to examine the issues, and 5 councilmen instead of 4 make the decisions that will affect their lives for their foreseeable future. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person to address the council is Clyde Nichols.
My name is Clyde Nichols, I live at 21769 Indian. I'm very disgusted with this council. Mainly because the understanding is I thought you were for the people. First, you take away 2 more minutes of my time, thinking I haven't got something to say that might be proper. Second, I see you override the building department on situations where you take total control of. You override the mayor by yelling at the lawyer to say, isn't that true? He can't do that to us? Last 2-minute meetings I've listened to, and I've been very disgusted with the way things have been running up here. Now, I know I can't stop you, and you got that damn clock up there saying 3 minutes. Well, I have a way of for you to give to that clock, okay? Because you can take all the residents' requests and so forth and put them in this bucket. You know what file 13 is? Because that's how many people are listening. Because you're taking 2 minutes away from them. You're taking positions away from people that are trying to help other people that own homes around here. And you're going strictly for the businesses and the churches. This isn't right. It is totally wrong of you, and I feel that you need to have a better understanding and be able to listen to somebody that is equal in your business here, to realize that maybe you should look at things a lot more than what you have been, okay? And just make a fool out of your mayor like you did last week is unbelievable. This whole thing, I'm not saying all of you, but I'm stating that you need to come to an understanding with the people that live in this town. The businesses and the churches are fine. I have nothing against them. But the people are the ones that make this town. And if you can't go along with that, then what the hell will you even be here? It's like you owning the fire department. You're controlling that, just like the building department. You're controlling that. I mean, if I had a fire in my neighborhood, oh yeah, look at the 3-minute clock. If I had a fire in my neighborhood, what are you going to do? They're going to have to call you and decide on, well, maybe we'll save this neighborhood, or maybe we'll just let it go because we need an industrial park or we need another church. Well, like I said, I have no... Yeah, I know you're 15 seconds. You can put that right here in this bucket. That's how I feel about it. It's a shame. What has happened to the fact of
think I know. Ring, ring, ring. Here, put it in the bucket, wait. That's where it belongs. So I'll leave this bucket here for you.
The next person to address the
You can shut the damn thing off too.
is Angel Burgos. You don't see them here. The next person is Harry Burgos.
Good evening. My name is Caroline Liddell Burgos. I live at 23882 Sergeant Avenue. And my husband couldn't be here tonight. That's Angel Burgos. When I sit here tonight, I don't have a prepared speech. I did, but I'm not going to say. I sit here tonight, and I watched how council is so concerned about the businesses, how they welcome new businesses to the city of Southfield. Come on in. What are you doing for your neighborhoods? And I watched it, I listened at last meeting and how you said, we're going to limit the parking lot, but you're tearing up our neighborhood, putting in parking lots. I've seen your advertisement in the Southfield Sun, how you care about the community, Sylvia Jordan, but show us how much you care. Right now, you're showing us the neighborhood, Sergeant Avenue, you don't care. You let anybody come in there and do anything they want. With a stroke of a pen, you can destroy a neighborhood. But you welcome all these businesses. Come on to Southfield. Come on, everybody. Come to Southfield. Let's move to Southfield for what? So you can, at the stroke of your pen, say we're going to put a parking lot because we want to at that moment in your backyard? Nobody's going to want to come to Southfield. Nobody. I made the biggest mistake that I made in my life when I cast my vote. And I tell you, I voted for you, and I voted for Cyber. You know what? That's the worst mistake I ever made. But come November, I'm going to correct that mistake. I'm going to correct my vote. I'm going to do the right thing. And yes, I put you up there. It's partly my fault. That's part of what's going on Sergeant. That is my fault because I voted for you. I trusted you. I put my neighborhood in your hands, my city that I love in your hands to do the right thing. I'll never do that again. And I'm telling everybody else, make sure you know who you're voting for. Do the right thing. That is the people that you are voting for. And I apologize to Sergeant Avenue. Sergeant Avenue, I am sorry. I am sorry, Sergeant Avenue, for electing officials that do not have the neighborhood, the city, in the best interest. Thank you.
All right, the next person to speak is Geraldine Amato.
In conclusion, for my comments this evening, I'd like to bring up a subject that's not mainstreamed. When I used to work with computers over 10 years ago, I quit them since then. I came across these reports, and I'm sure there's more updated ones as well, but Arthur Furstenberg wrote a paper called Killing Fields, referencing electromagnetic fields. We are overusing electricity in this modern industrialized globalist society, and we are also exposing ourselves to electromagnetic fields as well as radio fields, I can't have any call those, but he also wrote a paper called Microwaving Our Planet. And one of the things I took out of this paper was, quote, an invisible electrosmog engulfs us, destroying the health of many who do not even know why they have fallen ill. Massive evidence telling us we are frying our brains. Some have epilepsy or heart disease or diabetes, cancer, allergies, asthma, etc. The assault we are all suffering is a radical increase in electromagnetic pollution or electrosmog that's engulfing the earth. Someone else wrote, on November 14, 1996, OmniPoint, New York City's first digital cellular provider, did open for business, broadcasting from thousands of antennas newly erected on the rooftops of apartment buildings. And according to the health authorities, an early flu hit New York City, not Boston, not Philadelphia. On about November 15, 1996, the flu was severe and ran a prolonged course, often dragging on for months instead of the usual 2 weeks. Another author said, silicon sensors are already calling to each other. Soon, countless communicating microchips embedded in everything from bumpers to brooms will be sending streams of encoded electrical energy through glass, steel, concrete, bone, and flesh, exquisitely sensitive to subtle electromagnetic harmonies. Human brains and bodies as intricate as galaxies depend on tiny electrical impulses to conduct complex life processes, including the ability to read, recall, and respond even to these words. Acting as antennas, our anatomies just as easily tune into spurious signals from radio and microwave transmissions. Blake Levitt, author of Electromagnetic Fields, says that when it comes to cell phones, the word's frequency could not have been chosen for the human anatomy. Researcher Carol Ann Patton notes that the brain reaches peak absorption in the UHF bands, right where cellular telecommunications operate. No wonder more of us are crazy, depressed, sick, and don't even know where we're coming or going.
All right, the next person to speak is Charles Fletcher.
Well, I don't know how to follow that up. I don't blow bait, I'm not an anarchist. Anyways, my name is Charles Missionary. I own a commercial office building in Southfield, Michigan at 16250 Northland Drive. And we have about 300 people there a day. And it's a real simple problem. And I'm forced to come here from the water department. AJ told me I got to come here and present to you the problem in order to get redressed. The water meter, the new electronic meter, disco danced for about 2.5 months. And it danced at 3 times normal speed, costing me about $2,700 overbilling. And I want to be redressed for it, and I'm going to make a proposal. I'm going to donate that money to 2 charities that I support in Southfield. One of them is Spalding for Children. The other one is Spectrum Human Services. We both foster care and adoption programs, and I do contribute heavily to them. So that money, 100% of it will go to those adoption agencies. And that's it. That's all I'm presenting. You've got the detail. And the meter stopped disco dancing when the vendor came out and fixed it for the city of Southfield. That's it.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. The next person to speak is Mr. Charles.
Good evening. I'm so glad that Southfield City Council administration gave a freedom of speech, because some places they're chasing down. They don't want to hear nothing you got to say. Then when they go bankrupt, they start crying. But I'm so glad the city of Southfield believes in the Constitution. They want to hear from anybody who wants to address them. I was coming in from Lansing, and went on that freeway, we get up around where the old Moses Drive is at, and for the next 2.5 miles, clearly, I can see Southfield, the tallest building there, got a sign up on that skyline. That's a beautiful building. I believe it's a 1,000 town center, but there's a small bank there for over the next 2 years. They relocated. I don't think it blocked anybody, but they want to go back, turn back 40 years. They want to go back to, heavy traffic, having customers come to see them in another city to pay the park, and just a little snow like the day of rain. People get off the work, it takes them instead of an hour to get home, it takes them maybe 3 hours to get home. Wait, if they want to go back, that's fine. But when I saw on the top of that building, the sign up there, the sign comes down. And wouldn't it be so nice to put something up that says like Southfield, home of the AKAs, or Southfield, home of the Deltas, or Southfield, the home of be nice just to have a sign up there, Southfield, the city law. But when the lease is up, and that small thing move, give them 10 days notice to get out of there. Get that sign down from there. So the new owners can put something else up there. And I hope they take, in effect, put something up there like home with the AKAs or youngsters. So many good sisters here living in that city. Also, I wanted to talk about the roads. I hope I have a little time. A truck turned over downtown. Hilltop repaired that road down there less than a week and put that good concrete down that you walk on for 60 years. So when I was raised here, I've been here 60 years. I heard somebody say the father was on there 40-some years, but I've been walking on the street that I grew up on for 60-something years, and they put the same stuff down there. But what I understand is that, somebody over there mapped out that they're going to take the roads that don't need to be repaired and fixed first. The other roads, like where I'm at, they're going to patch it up and make it around 5 years from now. But I was just a young little lady about an hour ago talking about they took 16% and turned it into 38%. I hope there's some money left over there to get our roads fixed out here in Southfield. Because the boys are voting on it. I hope they get the people with all the degrees to do the right thing and do the job. So some money, extra 15, when you come up.
And your time is up.
Okay. I'm going to come back next month.
All right, thank you.
I want the residents to know that Sylvia George continues to abuse her power while serving as city council president. This council president is petty, biased, and wants to impose her Republican aspirations and agenda in an effort to become Southfield's new mayor. Not. Remember, Ms. Jordan, the citizens are at the top of the organizational chart, and the employees are second in my book. They make the executive administration look good. On June 7, 2015, an article appeared in the Eccentric that said, City Council President Sylvia Jordan is hosting a community forum on Justice Wednesday, June 10th in the Southfield Library Auditorium from 6 to 8:30 p.m. I decided to call the number at the bottom of the flyer, 248-686-8053. 248-686-8053. I found out that that's the telephone number to Sylvia Jordan's campaign headquarters. I spoke to Carla. As I continued to confabulate with Carla, I quickly discovered that this was nothing more than a campaign event to promote Sylvia Jordan for mayor. I should have known. I know I'm an ultimate event planner. I've planned events for crowds as big as 1,200 and got media coverage, so I know what a flyer looks like. How repulsive is this man using the city, their employees, the municipal complex to further your position as mayor? Then I look on the website, and now all of a sudden the same event now is being sponsored by the police. How petty and just distasteful for you to use the police department for your event. You use the police department to clean up your event. If it was a police-sponsored event, that ad would have never appeared in the paper on June 7th. It would have said the Southfield Police. So what I'm going to encourage you to do, Ms. Sylvia Jordan, stop using the city, the employees, this municipal complex to further your agenda. You already abused your power putting me out of the meetings, but guess what? Every time you put me out, you make me relevant. You elevate me a little bit more. Stop being so petty. Stop using this form to campaign for mayor. And that's under 3 minutes. Thank you.
And I have to respond before the next person comes up. The event that was held, the Community Justice Forum, was not a Sylvia Jordan for Southfield mayor event. So the person who just came to the audience, came to the microphone, is Pamela Gerald, who doesn't live in the city of Southfield.
I have a house in section 25. I have a house in section 25.
Excuse me, who lives in Farmington Hills, but who has made it her aim, I don't know who she's paid by or what politician she's supporting to defame my character and to attempt to spew out facts that are untrue and unwarranted and definitely false. She is disingenuous, disrespectful, and continues to make an attempt to defame me. And so she's obviously on the payroll of my opponent. But what's really sad is that there was an event held for our community, for our young people, that was not sponsored by Sylvia Jordan for mayor. It was also interesting is I was right in the office when she called, and it's my assistant, it was not Sylvia Jordan for mayor. So hopefully, let's get the facts straight. You know, it's unfortunate that we live in a society that, or we are in a century that allows free speech, and some speech is irresponsible, reckless, and untrue. And you just heard it here tonight.
That's the church phone number?
Excuse me, and if you call out from the audience again, you will be removed from this forum this evening. The next person to speak is Jamar Mullen.
Before he comes to the microphone, I think you were, I don't want to take sides, but I think you're a little off base by saying that you think that she's being paid by your opponent.
Thank you.
I don't think you can prove
Well,
that.
I just made that comment.
I think you need to take that one back until you can prove it.
Well, I'll see, we'll see. We'll see. Mr. Gerard Mullen.
Thank you. Madam President, my name is Gerard Mullen. My address is Post Office Box 155, Southfield, Michigan, 48037. 2 days from today, on June 17th, will mark the second anniversary of when you, Reverend Jordan, declared me, Gerard Mullen, a non-resident at the televised council meeting that evening. And to top it off, you, Pastor Jordan, claimed that you had documentation.
Mr. Mullen, my name is Sylvia Jordan, and I am the council president of this office. I was not elected as Pastor Jordan, so please make your comments as such.
And to top it off, you, Pastor Jordan, claimed that you had documentation that proves that I am a non-resident. Madam President, it has been close to 2 years, and you have yet to present or produce any documentation. Let us see this documentation tonight, your documentation tonight. You couldn't possibly have such documentation tonight. And you know it, because I am and always have been a resident of Southfield continuously, up until this very moment, since 1968. 47 years, and still counting. I offer the following as proof that I am a Southfield resident. Madam President, would you please ask Councilman Cruz, who is sitting to your immediate right, and who you, Madam President, personally endorsed for council in 2013, the following question. Dr. Cruz, did you, along with Dr. Ken Cyber, solicit Mr. Mullen's vote for council on or about 11 a.m. Saturday morning on October 26, 2013, at the front door at Mr. Mullen's residence in the city of Southfield, Michigan, 131 days after I, Sylvia Jordan, declared Mr. Mullen a non-resident? Yea or nay, Dr. Cruz, yea or nay? Madam President, let me repeat this critical question that you need to ask Dr. Cruz tonight. Dr. Cruz, did you, along with Dr. Ken Cyber, solicit Mr. Mullen's vote for council on or about 11 a.m. Saturday morning on October 26, 2013, at the front door in Mr. Mullen's residence in the city of Southfield, Michigan, 131 days after I, Sylvia Jordan, declared Mr. Mullen a non-resident? Yea or nay, Dr. Cruz, yea or nay? Thank you, Madam President. Thank you.
All right, the next person to speak is Ms. Lori Penn.
My name is Lori Penn. I live at 29852
Drive. I have been a Southfield resident for 43 years. I came to the City Council this evening to express my concern about political campaign protocols. During the week of June 1st, Acting President Sylvia Jordan posted on her campaign Facebook page an invitation to attend a criminal justice forum at the Southfield Public Library. The flyer read, Southfield City Council President Sylvia Jordan is hosting a community justice forum. Further, the flyer carried her campaign office telephone number. Neither the mayor, library administration, city administration, nor city council had approved of this event. Quite clearly, this was a campaign event. Prior to posting this notice, she asked the police chief to participate on the panel and sought to have the city staff publicize the forum. She used her position as acting council president to secure these favors. Candidates for political office may not use city facilities and resources to promote their election to office. The Southfield Public Library does not provide space for purposes other than library or city-sponsored events. The rooms are not available for rent. No room in the library may be used for selling or marketing, with the exception of library-sponsored book sales and situations of that type. Ms. Jordan is a veteran of numerous city political campaigns. As a person active in the city for such a long time, Ms. Jordan certainly knows that candidates may not promote themselves in city or library facilities or with city resources. It appears that the acting council president took advantage of her position to schedule this forum at our library. Library staffers were told that it was a community forum. What was not said was that this forum was not sanctioned by the city council or the administration. Until Sunday, June 7th, there was no information relating to this community forum other than on candidate Jordan's own Facebook page. After complaints surfaced about the use of the library for the forum, the city administrator on June 8th asked the police department to sponsor the forum and directed staff to promote this event. On Monday, June 8th, the city website carried an announcement of the forum for the first time. Why did the administrator acquiesce to Ms. Jordan when clearly she was in the wrong? The event should have been moved from the library and no city resources or staff time spent on its promotion. I do recall the to-do over Ms. Jordan's use of church phones to make robo-voting calls and improperly placed promotional signage in the 2009 mayor's race. Many of my friends and neighbors were quite upset. The established campaign rules were bypassed for political gain. We expect candidates for public office to act with integrity and follow established campaign rules. I am rather concerned about what this says about our city in which I have lived since 1972. I feel that Ms. Jordan should step down from council leadership while she is a candidate for another political office. As acting president, she is using the position to promote herself and not necessarily what is in the best interest of the council or the city of Southfield. Thank you.
I have to respond to the comment that was just made by the previous person that came to the microphone. First of all, I have never asked city staff to take care of an event which was in my prerogative to do as city council president. Previous city council presidents have held events in the city of Southfield using city facilities without any problem. The problem is I am running in a campaign against an individual or individuals that don't want to see me win, and that's fine. But in the position of city council president, I can host an event that's relative to the community. So here, I was hosting an event as city council president. I never asked anyone in the city to advertise the forum. It was never on my mayor's website. It was on my personal Facebook page, and it was on my personal page. So for individuals to think that the forum, which was a much-needed forum in the city of Southfield, was to promote Sylvia George for mayor, if you would have attended the event, you would have known exactly what was stated. It was to give people an opportunity to interface with our judges, our police chiefs, it was also a gentleman from the city of Detroit, a former attorney, U.S. attorney, and there was a discussion that was made. So for anybody to take that event and to twist it and to say that it was a personal agenda, you're really, you're wrong. That's all I can say, is that you're wrong. And again, people are determined to tarnish my character, and they're determined to tarnish the work that I've done on the city council. And I will continue to serve the city council residents. I will continue to serve the residents of the city. I will continue to serve the businesses of the city. And that's the bottom line. Again, we live in a country where people can speak their own individual thoughts, but many times they're factually untrue. They're speaking without knowledge, and it's freedom of speech. Reckless, irresponsible, and most of the time, untrue. I'd say 90% of the time, untrue. And again, if there are any more outbursts from Ms. Pamela Gerald, who probably did not take her medicine today, and who does not live in the city of Southfield, you can leave. So we're going to have, if there are any more comments, that will happen. So the next person I said ask to speak is Charlene Gordon. And for the record, I am not a Republican, so you can continue to put those lies out there as well.
Thank you, City Council. I didn't see my name on the agenda, so I wasn't sure if I made it.
Yeah, you made it.
Okay, thank you. City Council, at the last meeting, I did make a request that Councilman Cruz and City Council President Jordan provide me with some information about how you make your decisions. And I know that was a tall request, because I wasn't looking at what was in the minutes. I wanted to know your thinking pattern. And so I understand that you weren't able to do that, and I respect that. So I only think it's fair that I talk to you about what I see and my experiences on Southfield Association. You have to realize I came from Detroit, and my family was pretty upset with me that I moved out of Detroit into the suburbs. So as far as I would go was between 8 miles and 9 miles, so that they could get to me easily. So now, as I moved to the city, I moved next door to people who were determined to die in this neighborhood. Mr. Lee, my neighbor, said, "This is the land where I raised my children, and I'm going to die here." Miss Dolly, the same thing. She raised her children there, and she saw this as prime property, not as something that she could raise her children and leave, but she was committed to living here. And that's just a whole different pattern when you look at that neighborhood. When I go for a walk, I stop and I talk to an 80-year-old lady who tells me the history of the neighborhood. She lived in the neighborhood when she was in her 60s because she loved the land. So you have to look at this not as something that people move into and move out of. You're looking at us when the housing market had a great effect on our community, and many people lost their property. This is not a transient neighborhood. This is a neighborhood where people love to come and stay. On one walk, I met a man who is the second generation who had a child, and the third generation will be living in Southfield Association. So when I hear administrators talk about, well, you know, some people come and they have property just as a first-time home buyer. These are home buyers who are saying, I want to stay. When you heard Mrs. Burgess speak, she plans on staying there and having her grandchildren visit there. She loves the woodlands. And so that speaks to a whole different type of homeowner, not someone who wants to come and own it and then move to Farmington or out in Commerce Township where they can buy land. But this is a place where people love land. And they buy here on purpose in Southfield Association because they love land. So your decision has a profound effect on the neighborhood. We want large lots for a reason. So to cut into a neighborhood is devastating. So I really want you to give it your thought. When Curly says, now when I look out, I won't see trees, which I love. I'll see cars in a parking lot. I'm really begging you at night to really think through this and reconsider. I love it when a particular resident said, at least let the full council have a voice. Don't lock it into just two people who have, at this time, sitting on city council, the voice. Open it up to the full council. I know that when I spoke with Councilman Frazier, he had some words that he wanted to say. Would he be willing to vote? Would Councilman Millebaum be willing to vote? I think that you owe it to the residents. Don't set the precedent being you two setting the pattern for Southfield. Open it up so that every council person can have a voice in this. And again, we're a neighborhood where we happen to love land. When you talk to the business people, ask them where they live or where their employees, the 300 employees that will be moving into the area, where do they want to live? Do they love Southfield? Thank you.
Thank you. And I have to, I just can't allow people to come to the mic and just say things anymore. The reason that Mr. Cruz and I voted is because we were present when the vote took place, as well as Ms. Seymour. So for you to say, allow the vote to come again, is as if we controlled the vote. Everybody that was at the council meeting that evening were given an opportunity to vote. So it's not like we were the only ones that voted for or against the project. We voted because we were there that evening. So don't try to say that, we're controlling what happened. We were there that evening and the vote was taken. And unfortunately, it was not in your favor or what you wanted us to do. And so we're going to move forward from that.
I appreciate your response, but I'm going to respect the 3 minutes and not respond because I know that you have to leave and I want to respect your time.
Thank you very much.
But I'll come again.
All right, we'll see you again.
Yes, I see an officer from the Southfield Association, Ms. Lindwright, is here, and I don't know if she would like to speak, but if she would, I would recognize her. Up to her.
Good evening. Thank you, Mrs. Seymour. My name is Lynn Rice, 21925 Bird Road. I appreciate the patience that the council has shown with Southfield Association, continuing to address the issues. And I do want to let you know that we are trying very hard to work through the challenges and changes that may be coming into our area. This is far from over at this point in time. We want you to be aware that there are some opportunities that we are trying to work with the planning team to make the changes less obtrusive and less cutting our neighborhood in half. Don't know what that will bring toward us. And the only question that I have is Mr. Cruz at the last meeting asked the city administrator to work on some assistance, and I was just wondering what was happening with that in regards to the wall. Thank you.
All right. Okay, we just moved from the communication portion of our agenda, and it is the time where we allow the public to speak to the council You've heard from some residents and some non-residents, alike. Some that live in Farmington Hills, some that don't live here. And excuse me, we're gonna ask you to leave, Ms. Chair. I'm not gonna have the outburst in this audience.
Thank you. And you owe me an apology.
Excuse me, Mr.
You owe me an
Police
apology.
officer is going to promptly,
You owe me an
We'll take
apology.
a 5
We'll be
minutes. We'll
filing
take
a
a
complaint. You better prove that statement.
in my opinion, is bringing disrespect to this council, and we're not gonna allow it to happen. Public officials were subjected to more scrutiny than others, and many times we have to turn the other cheek. So, we're just not gonna let you come to this mic and just spew things that are not true. We're conducting business, which is what I said at the beginning of the meeting. Now we move to the council portion of the agenda. Councilor.
Thank you. I'm losing my voice. One of the first speakers this evening, he said, point of my things in the yeah, thank you. The first person that spoke this evening spoke, Ms. Sheila Gaddy, spoke against Mr. Sidney Lance for missing meetings. And I want to comment about that. I think that was really unreasonable. Mr. Lance had 2 injuries in the past, a little over a year ago, that have caused him a great deal of pain. One was, the more recent one was an automotive, just at the end of the winter, was riding as a passenger in a car, which collided, was hit by another car, and he was injured in that accident. And he's still paying for that, a great deal of pain. The other one was that he received a package from the city. We get minutes, we get packages before every meeting of the minutes and what we're going to be looking at the next meeting. And this happened twice, and I saw it one time because I was delivering something to his residence, and he picked up his package, which was huge, but it was not wrapped properly, and it was minutes and all of the material that we received. And as he picked it up, he was on the stairway, and it came apart, and as he went to reach to grab for it, he fell, and that has caused him a severe injury to his neck, which he is still suffering and taking treatment for. So these are things that were not his fault, and he's in pain with these 2 injuries, and I don't think it's fair for someone to say he's just missing meetings. He's under treatment, and I don't think he should just resign because of injuries that had nothing to do with his fault. That's all I'm going to say.
Anyone else? Mr. Cruz.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, some people may already be familiar with the fact that Southfield Public Schools is about to undergo some very significant changes. There was a meeting, a vote taken with regard to merging some high schools, closing some grade schools, middle schools. In fact, my son's school, Grace Leslie, is one of those that's on that list. And I know that we don't formally have a connection, I guess, if you will, with the schools as a council, but I think we'd be remiss if we didn't at least reach out to them to talk to them about how these plans are going to affect the city. We talked about a number of different things that make cities thrive. Public education is one of those things, and a strong system is something that we need to be concerned about to make sure that our city still is attractive to people to move into and so forth. So I would just like to request maybe from the council president at some point if we can find opportunities, maybe have a discussion with the superintendent.
We actually have a meeting plan coming in August of this year. Yes.
Okay, great, very good. And then the second item, just on another point, I had the opportunity this weekend to go to a kids football camp at Southfield Laker this Friday and Saturday. One of the Detroit Lions, Jason Jones, number 91, he's a Southfield native, Lathrop graduate, and he offered a free summer camp to like over 100 kids in the community this past weekend. And I just wanted to acknowledge what he did. In fact, I plan to invite him to our next meeting to recognize him, because I just thought it was a great thing. It was free of charge. They got some good opportunities to meet with him and some other Lions players, and he's giving back to where he came, to his roots, where he came from. So I just want to publicly acknowledge that, and hopefully we can have that at the next meeting. So, yeah, if I could, Ms. Wright did ask a question to me with regard to the funds. Any updates? We hadn't talked yet at this point, so I don't know if Trish, you have an update. If not, we can get one for the next meeting.
If I may, Madam President, the city attorney and I had a discussion, the question of utilizing city funds. It's not something that's normally done. The private fence in our planning and zoning ordinances, this is a private function. It's not to say that it couldn't be done. The other issue is where this fence line sits and what the material would look like. But my general thought is that it's a bit of a slippery slope to start paying for a fence that normally we would have a private entity pay for.
Okay, that is Mr. Cruz. All right, Mr. Lincoln.
Yes, as the summer is getting into full gear, I just wanted to let everyone know about some events that are going on. Go out and meet your neighbors, especially this week, on June 18th, the Southfield is participating in what was hopefully going to be a world record of the world's largest swimming lesson at the Southfield pool. The information is on the city's website, but hopefully they're getting together with a whole bunch of different communities and having an attempt at a world record. Also, this Friday or Saturday is a free lesson day at the municipal pool, and I think that that's something that all the residents should definitely take advantage of. Again, a lot of these events are listed on the city's website. They're having creature feature at the Berg, they're having the Berg gazebo concert series, and different things. I also wanted to remind everyone that the Community Pride Awards are now being accepted through July 2nd. This is a chance for individuals or neighbors who want to nominate their neighbor's property, their landscaping, and show the beautiful landscaping and residences that reside throughout our city. So again, hopefully we'll see you out at some of these events. They are wonderful events, and you can come out and meet your friends, meet your neighbors.
Yes, there was a document in our package this week that came from the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, and they took a position on to support measures to protect companion animals from inhumane tethering practices, and that was in our package. And I'd like to refer this to our legislative committee to have to discuss whether or not we want to write a resolution to support or at least discuss it at the legislative committee. Also, the second thing was a resident sent me, and this is about a month ago, sent me a concern about the nuclear power plants, and they're considering building one someplace along the Detroit River, I guess. Anyhow, she sent me a letter, and I forwarded it on to Ms. Seymour. It was Laura Perot, and that also ought to be in our legislative committee to talk about whether we want to take a position in that. And the third thing is, I think the state has taken a position on the electronic cigarettes about not allowing them for sale for teenagers. And I don't know if that's something that also want to go in the legislative committee to discuss where do we go from here with that.
I would really think that your office is research and maybe as public tobacco I will take the back to all the research because I had to do the research on it because the tobacco shops were asking to sell it. And at that time, there was some concern about the youth using it, so I'll take to our office doing research first.
If the minimum, maybe we ought to do a moratorium on it,
Yeah.
or something while we're doing some research on it. But that's something we're going to take a look at. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a few items. First of all, warm weather is here and it's coming quickly, and we want to make sure we've got good neighboring policy in place. And just be sure to watch the loud music, and don't ignore the speed signs in your neighborhood, and then be mindful of your neighbors when you're shooting fireworks for 4th of July. Just have a good neighbor policy. Last week, there was a community justice forum in the city of Southfield, and the event was really to initiate dialogue and discussion between residents, citizens, our police department, the judges that are in our city, the magistrate. It was well attended. It was an opportunity for citizens to really know their rights, to make sure that we don't have events which are happening across the country in Ferguson and Dallas and Baltimore that, Southfield is a great city, but we want to make sure that we keep the dialogue open. And it's really unfortunate that some individuals tried to stop it, tarnish it, flip the script on it, but it still went through. And I believe it was very, very informative for those that attended. One of the upcoming events is Hope United Methodist is having a festival for the community. It's the Festival of Hope, and that's going to be July the 9th through the 12th with rides, popcorn, just a ton of things that's for the community. So we want all to participate in that. And then I have a question to Mr. Thorne. This has to do with an individual that called me. He's in the neighborhood, and they do research on the vacant homes that are in their neighborhood. And he has to pay when he does research. And he wants to know if there can be any type of relief for their association when they go in to do tax research and things of that sort, to get information on vacant properties. What can we do to help?
We are currently examining that issue. We recently, within our BSNA software, we recently moved to a real-time service. And before it was it was only updated a couple times a week. Well, the expenditure was another 20-some thousand per year. Most of our peers, other communities, you can look up your address for free. And most of the other communities are charging $2 every time you look up. We're looking at our software and what we can do to configure it. We actually, in ArtView, which is another software we have, we believe we can provide all of the information for people at no expense. So we're looking at that. Now, I'm told by my staff that the ArtView is a little bit more cumbersome, and we're evaluating that. But we are going through a whole process of this. It wasn't, obviously, our desire was to get to a real time in the process. As we move forward with the building department, we want a home. Where we're moving is with BSNA, and that's the software we use for our taxes, our assessment, our building department, our assessor's office, that you'll be able to monitor your permits. So we could no longer have that delay. So that's what prompted us to need to move to that. We're evaluating it. We had a meeting last week. The general public can come to the counter and get the information for free. But there is another way on the system right now that people can get it with no cost. That people have been using this one system, and we have been paying that. Every time someone looked at it, the city was paying the $2. So we're trying to work our way through it.
Okay, I'll give you the individual's name. He's the vice president of his neighborhood association. He's the older gentleman So he said he can't physically come in.
We've had, I've probably had about 4 or 5 calls, some homeowners, some investors, but a lot of people who use this to make money have been getting a free service from the city. So we're looking at it. One of the thoughts with ArcView was maybe to do a training video to show people how to use ArcView within our software. In fact, at the next COW, we'll do a demonstration for council how that works.
Okay. We'll move to the next portion, Mayor Coffey.
Madam Chair, I have no news items, but I guess I have to do some venting. Councilman Cruz brought up the situation with the schools. My office was contacted twice that they were going to have some kind of a meeting, and in no way did they describe the kind of meeting that it was going to be, or what its impact would be to the city. I am just appalled at the fact that we're supposed to be partners with our schools, and every time they need something, we become a partner. When they do something, I guess we're not partners any longer. And this has a tremendous impact if what they state they're going to do happens. I've been in the city since little tot, and if you go back into history, there always was a time when Southfield was built, that was the upper class kids, and Southfield High School was whatever. And now you start seeing this going along, and now it's a university. And a young lady came by the house the other day, and I asked her where he went to school. She said, I go to the university. She didn't say go to Southfield Lathrop any longer. She goes to the university. So now you have a university, and you have a high school. And that's one group part of another group. Now one becomes an alternative school, and one becomes a school for the bright. Now, I went to the LTU to a conference, and there was a professor from, I think, Yale, and he was talking about teaching young people and college kids. And he said, first of all, make sure that when you give a lecture, they really understand what you said, and it really is sunk into them. Secondly, divide up your class into groups with smart and the not so smart, and together they will grow together. And here we are now, I believe, segregating our young people into 2 different types of education. Those that are preferred and those who are not preferred. And I really can't believe this is even happening again, because this is the same thing when Lathrop was built, and Southfield High School was not fixed up, wasn't maintained. It wasn't through a later time when you had a new gym and a new addition and whatever they have over their football field. But then in the paper I just read where it says, all of which requires students to apply and take an exam in order to be admitted to the university. So that typically states that not every child will have an equal chance of getting smart. And it will have different teaching. It will have different environment. It will have different place to go. It is a total, to me, of this disfranchising young people who may not be as smart, and maybe not somebody out there, teachers, willing to teach them and bringing them up to a standard. And there's no reason why we just don't have a standard overall and teach every kid that comes through the porthole We used to have neighborhood schools where everybody in the neighborhood went to the same school like Leonard and Sims and John Grace. It didn't matter. Everybody who lives in that neighborhood just went to that school. Now they're separated. You have another school down, an alternative school down on Evergreen Road, 9 Mile. Now you have high schools. And then I got a letter, and this lady went through the meeting, and to me, it really gets me. It says, drastically change the Southfield School District. This change will close all elementary and middle schools east of Telegraph and south of I-696. This change will have a devastating effect on our students, parents, community, and property values. Then it goes on to show and describe there will not be a elementary or middle school from I-696 to 8 Mile Road or from Telegraph Road to Greenfield. For the whole south end of the city, east end of the city, will not have an elementary or middle school in it. And I guess, this is a city where education has always been a priority. It was a city that supposedly we were partners with the schools. A lot of people don't even realize we have 3 school districts in our city. 12.5 Mile Road North is Birmingham. The 9 Mile Road South is Oak Park. So we actually have 3 school districts in our city. And I just can't believe, and we stand here, we see Hello World, we see Klinger coming in, we see Dirk coming in. Well, these things that we have coming into the city, that we work hard to bring in economic development to the city, is not only for the city's strength, but it's for our school strength. And the cities get the bulk of the taxes that we raise through our actions here on the council. And that's why we have partners. And I guess I get upset that nobody called the mayor's office, I don't know who, if somebody called the council members to even discuss what they were doing, or what they plan on doing, or what future plans they have, and see what impact this would have on the community. And I guess I am raising this tonight because I don't know where they're going with this, but I know the teachers are upset. I know this MacArthur was an academy, and kids would bus through that academy because I guess it was one of the schools that taught a different way. And now that's going to be the busing center. The busing center is going to be now a university, as well as Southfield Lakewood School. So, not to get parochial, but now I say, and it is not me, it's what is perceived in the community, and Little Lakewood Village, keeps pounding on their chest, and they're Lakewood Village, and they get the university, and I got the high school. Well, I'm very proud of our high school, and my wife graduated from that high school, and I want every child in this city that was a school, in any public school, to be educated and educated and educated. I want to see their faces on the back of these newspapers where they got a scholarship to here, they're one of the bright kids. I mean, I think that the teacher ought to teach every single kid that comes through the door exactly the same way and teach to a standard. And I see that this is destroying our community because you're going to have the haves and have-nots. And I will never, as a mayor, I will never go for Detroit, a human being, but a parent that's got 6 children that were raised in this community, 14 grandchildren, I would never have this kind of reception in the schools. You don't even have it in the private schools. If you're in a private school and you can't make out, your teacher takes you in and you got a tutor to help you get up into that same standard. They don't throw you out. You know, and I guess I'm willing to see, I want a meeting with these people, find out what the heck's on their mind. And, I guess there was a couple of comments made by a couple of the school people in the graduation area on the Shane Park that were on the same kind of thing that I'm on the soapbox about. And, I just think that this is going to do everything this lady said. It's going to reduce the value of our homes, reduce our education in our community, and it's some children are going to be dropped through the cracks because they're going to be less than what they go to university. And I think the kids already know, and they use the terminology, they go to the university. They don't go to Southfield Public School. And I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. I'm planning today, but, you know, like I said, I was raised in the city, and I just don't like any of this baloney that they're pulling. I call it baloney. I want every kid taught and a standard that everyone that comes through that portal is taught and educated.
All right, we do have a meeting scheduled with, a joint meeting scheduled with the Southfield School Board, Mr. Frazier.
Yeah, I understand everything that you're saying, I agree with almost, 99%. But I think there's some clarification. And I don't know the conversation that you had with the young girl that said, or the young lady that said that she goes to the university. But I don't know if you're aware, but there are 4 high schools in the city of Southfield. There's ElringKlinger, there's Southfield High, there's the Rezoning Academy, and then there's University High. University High is one that you were reading where you have to take a competitive exam in order to get in, but it's housed at Southfield High School. It's not housed at Lakeford. So I don't know what conversation you had with her, but it's a very in-depth and very competitive high school. There are like only 400 students in the University High, which is a school within a school, and it's, but I'm sure that the school people can explain it a lot better than I can, even though I do a lot of.
Well, his father that was with the young lady in the car, he said K through 3 was at the university, which is now the Budget Center, and Southfield Lathrop is a university now. So there is no differential where, I understand it's a university, and my daughter is over at MacArthur, which is an academy. But now they are saying that this is a university. Every child that gets a certain level of their talents is going to go to the Southfield Lathrop and Bussey. Everybody else is going to go somewhere else.
I can't answer for.
And let's find out.
Yeah, I can't answer for the latest thing that was in the papers. I don't know anything at all about that. What I do know is, you want me to get you involved, Lloyd? Okay, Lloyd Cruz and I were both selected on a committee that met about 3 months ago. And we met several times to study the reduction in students in the schools system, Southfield Public School System, and we were invited to take part in, to make some recommendations. The recommendations that we made to the administration wasn't anywhere near what was in the paper. So, and I did not go to the meeting because it came out an email that says, I'm sorry that this is so late, but it came out in the morning and said the meeting was that night, and I had something else, I couldn't make it to either of the 2 meetings, but, so I can't vouch for what it was in the paper, but I do know that the recommendations that our committee, and there were about, I think, 37 people on the committee, and our recommendation, and we read it out to the school board, and it wasn't anywhere near what was in the housed at Southfield High School, in the Southfield High School building. And the regional academy is on Evergreen Road.
What was your recommendation to move Southfield, the university high over to Southfield Lakewood?
Nope.
That was not in the recommendation.
No.
All right, so we'll have a good discussion when they come to us. And
This lady who has a map here, who sent me this, and
Yeah, I got to say.
she's following up on this, and it shows where the schools are that are no longer going to be there.
Yeah, that's okay, I can't.
You know, it is
talk about
required,
that.
you know, way back when I was in school, you know, it's only planetarium in that school.
It's only
It's all about
planetarium.
sciences and math that our kids are supposed to be getting familiar with, and here you have the only school that has a planetarium being built.
Yeah. That's what I say, we differ.
Yeah.
is that it?
Yeah.
That's all I have.
All right, we'll move to the administration portion of the agenda. Mr. Zorn.
Thank you, Madam President. I have an official action, it's step 6 in the Special Assessment District. We're requesting that council award the Bridge Street Hilltop reconstruction to GM and Sons of Whitmore Lake, Michigan, in the amount of $2,112,270.95.
Excuse me. Could you read that again, please?
Pardon?
Could you read that again, please? Because I heard Whitmore Lake.
To GM and Sons of Whitmore Lake.
Oh, okay, okay, all right.
Michigan.
Will entertain a motion at this time?
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Frazier, supported by Ms. Seymour, to approve the receipt of bids for the special assessment, T1176. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll move to the expense report of the main banks. Will entertain a motion.
Madam President, if I just want to comment, I want to thank council for your support on the budget. There was a comment made during the public hearing that I just need to address. This bid about no raises since 15 years is completely wrong, and I don't know where the 15 years comes from. It is accurate to say there have been no raises since 2008, and yes, the city of Southfield is in compliance with state law, which requires that our employees pay a percentage of their health care. During that same period, yes, our employees are contributing to pensions, but it needs to be framed out that myself as well as my predecessor, we laid no one off. We did not ask for any concessions in a period when our tax base went from $3.6 billion down as low as $2.1. This budget today, I like the graphic, recession exit, we're a long ways off. The GASB accounting rules we're going to have to account for our unfunded health care liability, which is a substantial number, and the next year's audit that will show up. During the same period from 2008 to present, our fringe benefit rate had doubled from 23 to almost 46 cents on the dollar, depending upon the bargaining group. You know, so I take no pleasure in the fact that our employees haven't got raises, but I believe the sacrifice has been equal and shared amongst all bargaining groups, and certainly not as draconian as what some other communities had to face. And I think that's a tribute to a lot of people who've been on this council during that period. It's not that easy. I'll leave it in this. As we go forward, we still have a lot of on-net capital needs from our facilities that need to be addressed, replacing equipment, fire trucks, police cars. Every 1% runs us $350,000. In the budget that we approved tonight, the library and Parks and Rec are still living in, they're taking some money out of fund balance. The general fund is not. The library and Parks and Rec have beat budget the last 3 years in a row, and I believe we will beat budget again. So I think there are certain things. The general fund We still have some restructuring and issues with library and Parks and Rec. I know everyone in this room would like to restore the library hours, but it comes down to economics. The library has brought in an efficiency expert, and we're looking at some restructuring options. Parks and Rec has consolidated some of their operations, and we'll continue to look at that. So I just wanted to frame and provide another part of that comment. It's not been 15 years, and we will continue to monitor this. I think it's because of the way our collective bargaining agreements work. We've got employees covered by all of the bargaining groups throughout various departments. It's kind of tough to ask Parks and Rec or the library to take on additional employee costs. So we will continue to monitor the situation. We'll continue to outperform budgets. I just want to thank council for their support.
Thank you for making a comment, Mr. Jones. I think it's important that when people come to the voting, that we don't allow the untruths to just float throughout the community. So we've got to start putting our foot down and not letting them continue. So we'll entertain a motion for this thing.
I move that we approve the expenses for our city clerk for attending a training class.
Support.
We have a motion by Mr. Frazier, supported by Mr. Mandelbaum. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Last item is to enact
Madam President,
Mr. Frazier.
I move that we enact ordinance number 1642, the housing density requirements.
We have a motion by Mr. Frazier, supported by Ms. Seymour, to enact ordinance 1642. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Any other items to be brought to this council tonight? Meeting adjourned.